repeat campaign. Again, 913-912-4810 is the text line. We got Ken Swanson at 11 o'clock coming up at noon. We'll get into our NFL predictions. We'll talk about each division, where the standings will end up. Certainly the Chiefs will go through their schedule, and we'll also pick our MVP, offensive and defensive rookies of the year, coach of the year, and then who we have the Chiefs beating in the Super Bowl. Right? I mean, come on. Let's be real here about that. And then at 1 o'clock, typically it's an entire hour of sports or leisure. We're going to do one segment. One segment of sports or leisure, and then we're going to spend the last 40 minutes of the show breaking down and getting into the keys of the game, what we're going to be watching for, looking for, and expecting, and certainly predictions on the specific game and what we think will happen tonight with Chiefs and Ravens. That thing's still a 3-point game, 46.5, the over-under, the total for that game coming up tonight. Kickoff about 7:22 is when the, I guess, exact kickoff is going to take place. As we said yesterday, 7:09 is when the banner ceremony will take place. So I don't know if that will push the kickoff to like 7:30.
This is potentially the most excited I've been for a season to start ever. I even last year and the year prior and just everything. For some reason, this year just has a special feel about it. I don't know if it's because they are chasing ghosts now.
Yeah.
They're not even ghosts. Not even ghosts.
LeBron's chasing ghosts.
Yeah,
Chiefs are chasing a valley of nothingness. I mean, there's no ghost. There's never been. They are chasing the expansion into the West, the first ever explorers to go through and blaze a trail.
This is Alaska.
Yeah.
They're going through Alaska right now.
Final frontier.
This is the final frontier. And I don't know. I'm so excited because the offense feels back. The defense is going to be good. There just feels to be a different excitement level. And maybe if this is just me, I don't know if anyone else feels the exact same as I do, but this has been the most excited I have been for a season to start, I think, in my entire life.
It's interesting because I would go back to 2019 was the year that I was the most as excited because of the unknown.
Sure.
They had just lost in the AFC Championship game. It felt like the keys were handed over, even though Brady won that particular game. But it felt like Brady was on his last leg, and the Chiefs were the new up-and-coming team. And
well, then Brady got a peg leg.
That's right, he did. But the Chiefs were the up-and-coming team, and it was like, man, they got a new defensive coordinator. They brought in Frank Clark. They brought in Tyrann Mathieu. The offense is going to be legit. This is going to be an unbelievable year, and they can win a Super Bowl this year. They can win a freaking Super Bowl and go to a Super Bowl. There was such an unknown. So I think 2019, but, as sort of an excited level, 2020 was different coming off the with the COVID that was going on. It was hard to sort of get pumped and excited for that, and they had just won a Super Bowl the year before, so it was like back-to-back was something that we thought they could do, but, how much of a realistic goal or reality would that be when it hadn't been done in like 20 years, right? And then I was curious after the loss to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game of what they would look like without Tyreek Hill.
Sure.
There was a curiosity, but it wasn't a, hell yeah, let's get this thing rolling, man. Let's get it going. And last year was kind of just like enjoying the moment because they backed it up by winning another Super Bowl.
Yes.
It was the prove it that 19 wasn't a fluke, the 2020 loss, the 2021 loss in the AFC Championship game. They were going in the wrong direction, steps in the playoffs, winning the Super Bowl, losing the Super Bowl, losing the AFC Championship game. Okay, they're heading in the wrong direction. They don't have Tyreek Hill. They finally win one. They win another one, and it was, 19 was finally, but win another one, and it was showing that they proved it. They proved that it wasn't a fluke. So last year was just sort of enjoying the fact that they won another one. They got two. And you never and at that point you would never feel like they wasted an opportunity with Patrick Mahomes, where the Packers are looking at it and going, how did we only get one with Rodgers?
Yeah.
The Chiefs at least got two, right?
Because Mahomes doesn't choke in the playoffs like Rodgers, but we can leave that out of the equation here.
But I think you're onto something this year. And as I'm talking, I think one of the things that gets me as excited is we went through last year, and again, it felt like the offense was pulling teeth. It just felt like they were playing in sand.
Mm-hmm.
It felt so compacted. It felt so 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Like, you're slowly matriculating the ball down the field, Hank. And this year it feels like they are going to open it back up.
Yeah.
That they got a chance to three-peat. They're the Super Bowl favorites, and the offense can look like the offense again.
And maybe part of it is, too, just my feeling could be with the Royals doing what they're doing with all 3 local schools, and maybe I'm just excited in general, but this just feels very Chiefs-specific, where I last night going to bed, and I felt different. Doing this, I'm sure you feel the same way. You feel more media, you feel more business sometimes than you do fan. It happens. But for some reason, going into this season, I have a little extra of that fan in me. Maybe it's because I don't think the offense is going to be boring. Maybe because I think the defense stays fairly close to what they were at last year, while the offense is a massive step forward. Maybe it's because, again, it's historic. Every Super Bowl is historic.
Yeah.
This is in its own level. This is, if they win, this is the greatest dynasty, I think, in NFL history.
I'm with you. I don't think there's any question. This is the greatest dynasty in NFL history if they win this one. It would be 3 in 6 years, 4 in 6 years, and 3 in a row.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. It would be the first team to ever win 3 in a row. They would win 4 in 6 years, and the 2 that they did not win it, they lost in the Super Bowl and lost in overtime in the AFC Championship game. There's no doubt you win this year.
Yeah.
You're the greatest dynasty in Super Bowl history.
Also best quarterback because it took Brady 7 or 10 years to get 4. So if he gets 4 right now, then that eclipses Brady as well.
Yeah. 913-912-4810 is the text line, 913-912-4810. If you are wondering at home, Peter Schrager always does his Thursday, the day of, picks his Super Bowl winner. He's done it 5 years in a row. Chiefs in 19, Bucks in 20, Rams in 21, Chiefs in 22, Chiefs in 23. He has unveiled his Super Bowl selection this year, and he has picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. He's got 5 straight selections.
It's incredible, man.
And he does it the day of. And in fact, what was even crazier 2 years ago is when he put on the Nick Bolton jersey and talking about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl and Nick Bolton having a big game, and then Bolton had a scoop and score for a touchdown in that game.
Dude,
Peter
Schrager is
what are you doing?
a wizard.
You witch?
I will say, I saw his playoff, his entire playoff breakdown.
Yeah.
Thought it was horrendous. There's 4 or 5 teams in there. I go, these teams might win a combined 6 games. Like, I think the Broncos may be in there. I think the 3 teams in the AFC West are in there. It was just like, I don't believe you.
Well, I don't know about the playoffs, but he picks the Super Bowl.
But I believe the Super Bowl champions.
I have no idea how he's done in the playoffs. I know that he's rolling, and don't bet against the streak. Do not bet against the streak.
He's on a heater.
Streak.
You never go off when you're on a heater.
It's a 5-year running heater, so his futures bets have been very lucrative for him. 913-912-4810. I want to talk about this sort of narrative heading into the game, and it's one of the things I'm going to ask Ken Swanson coming up at 11 o'clock. Is that how much do we think, or I'll just ask, does revenge matter in this particular game from the Baltimore side? That has been a narrative on that side for the last couple of weeks since preseason was over. Full focus on the regular season. Interviews, press conferences, whether it's the players talking about it or the media asking the questions to Harbaugh, to Lamar, to Roquan, to different players about revenge. I push back on that because it seems like you're missing the bigger point. If this is your revenge game, and I'm not saying it is for the Ravens. I'm not saying the Ravens players are we're going out there to play week 1 against the Chiefs for revenge of what took place on January 28th, earlier this year, what took place 8 months ago. No, we got to go out there and get revenge on this. But the Chiefs wanted revenge on the Bengals when they lost in the AFC Championship game. They didn't use it in the regular season.
Yeah.
In the regular season game in which they lost that regular season game. It wasn't about revenge in that game. They got a chance in the AFC Championship game, the same place, the same chance. They got a redo. And that was revenge. Yeah. That was not only are we going to get revenge, but we're going to get to go to the Super Bowl. If the Ravens get revenge tonight, they're 5 months away from being in the spot they were on January 28th, in which they want revenge for. Like, this to me, it's a regular season game, and if the Ravens win tonight, congratulations. The Bills have won in Kansas City.
Yeah.
The Bengals have won. The Ravens can win.
Lions.
The Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, but like teams they faced off in the postseason, right? Like the Bills, revenge, Bills, 13-second game. We're going to get revenge. Okay, you won in the regular season. Congratulations. Hang your Super Bowl banner. Then they went, 1-4 after that? After the Bills in 2022, because the Chiefs beat the Bills in the 2021 season in the 13-second game. 2022, they came in. Von Miller had a great game. Josh Allen led them down the field for a touchdown. Mahomes had the interception on the last play.
Yep.
The Bills won the Super Bowl.
I was at that game.
I think they went 1-4 the next 5 weeks. They had won their Super Bowl.
Yep.
They had
Eagles,
exacted their revenge.
Eagles last year was the same thing.
Yeah, and then they went in the tank.
Wasn't it last year too? Yeah,
they won that game and they went in the tank just like the Chiefs did.
The Bills did. Yeah.
That was because Big Dom wasn't on the sideline.
That's a good point.
Chiefs.
See ya. Sirianni was actually talking about his chances of going back to the Super Bowl
you
at
said
that point.
See ya, and my Siri went off. That was crazy.
Siri. But I mean, you're right. I don't buy into that. Maybe the Ravens are, but tonight is not revenge for the Ravens.
No one has questions.
In January would be revenge.
Yes, no one has questions they're good in the regular season. They might have the best record in the AFC this year. I wouldn't be surprised. They got to eventually do it in the playoffs. I think revenge is overrated as far as the narrative going into this game. Do they maybe want it more? Maybe. But
maybe. I mean, the Chiefs may have distractions, and the Chiefs, I don't think they're resting on their laurels, but if there's an off-season of grinding, off-season of an extra rep, I mean, Chris Jones talked about that after losing to the Bengals, the entire off-season doing extra work, putting in a little bit more, where the Chiefs had an extra couple of weeks of work than the Ravens, so maybe there is that aspect of it. But I also think the two teams are in different spots than they were on January 28th. You can make a strong case Ravens were the better team talent-wise, 1 through 53 on January 28th. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think the Chiefs are the better team talent-wise than the Ravens, and the Ravens have an all-new defensive staff. New defensive line, new linebackers, new secondary coach, and new defensive coordinator. All getting ready for a Chiefs revamped offense that could be explosive and could be taking the top off the defense. Like, there's a different position the two teams are in, and I don't think tonight, either way, even if the Chiefs win, will have any bearing on what happens in a matchup in the playoffs. It can have bearing on where the matchup takes place.
Sure.
But I don't think it'll have any bearing on a matchup in the playoffs where if the Ravens win, okay, well, now the Chiefs are screwed because now the Ravens have figured it out.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And it's also week one. How open is the playbook going to be? So sometimes Andy almost eases into this season. Again, I'm looking forward to this almost just as a complete football fan, too, because this is a phenomenal matchup. Derrick Henry now with the Ravens. How does... Again, a Chiefs defense that had been banged up almost all offseason long. Nick Bolton, Justin Reed, all of the cornerbacks outside of McDuffie. How do they handle the Ravens' offense? Again, you know me, I'm ripping the over in this game. I'm more confident in that because I think the Chiefs' offense is back, and I think that the Chiefs' defense struggles early on. I think we start seeing the early season Spags defense struggles before they turn it on around late November.
Yeah.
But... yeah, man, this is going to be electric.
I don't know if it's revenge. It might just be when they put the tape on of the AFC Championship game to get ready for this week.
Yeah.
I think naturally, as professionals, they're all going to see it and see all the missed opportunities and different ways they could have attacked the Chiefs, and that's how they're going to attack us this time. And it's going to seem like revenge, but it's just going to be them maybe going towards the game plan they should have used in the championship, which is just run the football up the middle.
Zay Flowers walking around with the football, and the teammates have to try and knock it out throughout the day.
No, Zay Flowers just running in and then just falls at the one.
Yeah.
Just gets ready to reach for the end zone, but then pulls it back in and just lays down with shoulder at the 1 yard line instead. Isaiah likely practices running down the middle with his hand up and Lamar ignoring
Triple
him.
coverage, too. Yeah.
And Lamar ignoring him.
Yeah, right.
Likely just running down the field with his hands up and Lamar going, nope, not doing it. Not doing it. We're learning. We're going to learn from our mistakes, guys. We're learning from our mistakes. Just because you throw your hand up, I'm not going to throw it to you, Isaiah. Yeah. Okay? It's not likely that it's going to be completed in the end zone. Not going to happen. Deion Bush is standing down there
It's
Not
like
doing it.
It's like in basketball when like the guy is he's like no one's behind me and you're like there's a guy behind you. I'm not making the pass.
It's right there, dude.
He's right there. You're not open.
Yeah, I'm wide open, man. Come on.
That was Isaiah Likely.
Throw me the ball, dude. Yeah, because he was not open.
He was not open.
Also, I guess maybe when he threw his hand up, he was open. But by the time Lamar saw the
Yes.
hand and then threw it late and threw it under, and Deion Bush was already making his way over, it was great. It was fantastic. I think it was a great throw by Lamar. It was one of my favorite throws Lamar's ever made in his career. One of my absolute favorite throws that I've ever seen him make. I really enjoyed that one, way more than Baltimore fans did. I don't know why. It's just simply how the chips fell. It's one of those things.
But like that's what I'm talking about. When Lamar sees that on film, it's just gonna aggravate them that they let an opportunity slip in their minds. I think the Chiefs had a good game plan and forced them
I
into
did
doing
too.
that, but in their minds they'll think that they missed an opportunity.
I will always go back to that game, and they'll say the Chiefs didn't score. That is 17 points. Was that what it was?
17 points, yeah.
But I think the Chiefs really just wanted to control the game. They go. Baltimore's not going to score. Look at what our defense is doing. They're just controlling this game right now. Why would we put the ball in harm's way? Yes, the Chiefs are still trying to score, but they're not going to be super aggressive. I think if the Baltimore Ravens were moving the ball very effectively, if they were scoring points, the Chiefs' offense was going to play a completely different style of game. I firmly believe that this was almost Patriot style, where Andy Reid goes, "Hey, I'm learning here. We don't have to put up a lot of points. We don't have to put up a lot of yards. We're going to control this game," because the Chiefs, in my opinion, controlled that game.
Also, what happens if Zay Flowers gets in the end zone and it's 17-14? Do the Chiefs have the same game plan the rest of the way?
Yes, my point.
That's exactly what you're saying. Yeah, so they score. I mean, they're down. It's that whole, Zay Flowers fumbled in the end zone. If he scores, they win. Chiefs were still leading. They were up by 10 at that point.
Yeah.
And at that point, they got the ball back up by 10.
Yes.
They don't have to be overly aggressive and make mistakes. Mahomes had said it after the Raiders game or somewhere around there when he was like, a punt is okay.
Yeah.
It was like and then he threw up a little bit in his mouth. He was like, it's okay to put. Look, if it's, third and long, you can just put. Like, we don't have
Xavier
to.
Worthy down there somewhere.
We don't have to get first downs, all right? With the team we have this year, you can put. You can punt the ball. Anybody have a Fresca or ginger ale? You can say it with me. You can punt the ball. Patrick, just say it. You can punt the ball. Patrick, you can punt the ball. Okay, you can punt the ball. Patrick, look in the mirror. You can punt the ball. It's like Beetlejuice. Punt the ball. Punt the ball. Punt the ball. Okay. Maybe that was part of it in the Ravens, obviously. Zay Flowers scores there. Your offense might be a little bit different than it's okay to punt the ball. We'll see. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. I do want to talk a little bit more about the game plan. Do the Ravens overcompensate for what has been the biggest criticism all offseason of them abandoning the run and them going with Lamar Jackson and throwing the ball a lot in the second half? Do they overcompensate? Do they go with Derrick Henry, Lamar, throw in Justice Hill a little bit? We'll talk about that on the other side, and how the Chiefs may play defensively against the Ravens, and maybe a perfect one of those matchups to see if early on McDuffie's going to travel with a number one wide receiver. We'll do that next. 913-912-4810. Text says the Chiefs are in the Ravens' head. They've talked nonstop about this game. I don't know who they play in week 2, but I bet they lose. I don't know that they know who they play in week 2, although I believe way more in players when they say it's a week-to-week league for them. When a couple of times after a game, Travis Kelce is like, and I think honestly, gotten wrong who the team was that they were playing the next week because he just didn't know.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know who we play next week. I'm like, okay, well, I've always joked about players saying that, but maybe along the way they have certain games they schedule and they look forward to. But like week by week, okay, we know next week we're playing insert team here.
I think the team that plays the Chiefs in week 2 knows exactly who they play in week 2.
It's the Ravens play the Raiders week 2.
No, I was saying the team that plays the Chiefs.
Oh, no, I know. I was just updating the...
Who plays
wondered.
the Chiefs in week?
Thank you.
So Ravens play the Raiders?
Yeah.
Go
In
ahead and
Baltimore.
go ahead and give me the Raiders in that one. I kid.
It's a trap game.
I think the Raiders are a lot better than people think this year.
I don't like West Coast teams going east.
No,
across the
not in that
country.
game specifically, but I think the Raiders are going to be pretty salty
with
this
Ravens 2 extra days rest. So I think the Ravens will start 1-1.
It's also a 12 p.m. start, which turns into a 10 a.m. start for the Raiders.
Yeah. But yeah. So the Chiefs play who week 2? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
Jamar who?
I'm week to week.
We don't say their name.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not going to say
Number
that name.
1.
I'm not going to say that name. Tex says, my favorite part of the Schrager pick was to forget the three-peat. It's a Chiefs-peat. I like that. It's a new branding, Don't have to pay any rights to Pat Riley. So for the three-peat. Chiefs-peat, baby. 913-912-4810. Do they have to pay rights to Schrager?
He said like a three-peat's not good enough. He was like, they're not going to three-peat. They're going to Chiefs-peat.
Yes. Pete and repeat in a boat. Pete falls out. Who's left?
I don't want to say it because then you're going to say this entire joke over again.
What are you talking about?
If I say repeat, what are you going to say?
Pete and repeat.
Yeah.
Are in a boat. Pete falls out. Who's left?
Well, not Pete.
Not Pete. That's the answer. 913-912-4810. Is this the game where we see, Dave Merritt and Steve Spagnuolo talked about it being matchup driven, that it may not be like a L'Jarius Sneed where you're just going to have him travel with the other team's number 1 receiver. Trent McDuffie being only 5'1". With Dave Merritt talking about 5'10" cornerbacks. Not talking about McDuffie because McDuffie's taller than 5'10". But, sometimes there are matchups that you go up against that you just can't do that. Doesn't this seem like the perfect wide receiver matchup for the Chiefs to have McDuffie travel with Zay Flowers, and then the body type of Rashad Bateman fits perfectly with a Williams or a Watson or even Nelson Aguilar? Like that just feels like if there was going to be a time where the Chiefs say these top 2 receivers, their number 1 receiver is a smaller, quicker guy, McDuffie can go with him. Their number 2 receiver is not as quick, but he's a bigger-bodied guy, longer. Great. We got Watson and Williams to go and help out in that aspect. It seems like that. I don't know if they're going to do that because McDuffie is still their best slot corner. So what does Shamari Connor look like in this particular game? And if Zay Flowers lines up in the slot, do they just put him on Shamari Connor? Or does McDuffie slide down? Because L'Jarius Sneed has played the slot when the number 1 receiver he was traveling with.
Sure.
I mean, Tyreek Hill was in the slot a couple of times against the Dolphins, and L'Jarius Sneed was on him. This seems like a perfect opportunity that if we're going to see McDuffie travel with a receiver this year, we'd probably see it pretty quickly in this matchup.
I'm trying to look because for some reason I'm only finding Zay Flowers in college slot versus regular snaps, and he was kind of a little bit of back and forth. I'm on PFF right now. I'm struggling to find the actual thing right here. But I think it's one of those situations where this is the perfect matchup, as you're mentioning, for McDuffie to travel with Zay Flowers both inside and outside. McDuffie almost towers over Zay Flowers, 5'11" versus 5'9". And I don't know if I want Watson or Williams on Zay unless Spags and Dave Merritt are sitting here going, we want to put a bigger bodied, more physical cornerback on Zay, maybe try and stuff him at the line of scrimmage. But Zay is very creative, right? He's very elusive when it comes to getting open. I like McDuffie on him personally. If it were me, I would have Trent McDuffie travel with Zay and then keep Williams, Watson, Najee on your Rashad Batemans and your Nelson Aguilars. That's just how I would personally do this, but let's be real now. Spags and Dave Merritt earned the benefit of the doubt because they've been so damn good when it comes to secondary play.
1,002 snaps last year for Zay Flowers during the regular season and the postseason. 650 out wide, 352 in the slot, so roughly two-thirds, one-third.
So you'll see a lot of probably moving him back.
Yeah, so two-thirds of the time Zay Flowers lined up outside last year. One-third of the time he lined up in the slot out of the just over 1,000 snaps he took as a wide receiver last year for the Ravens. So, again, I think this is a perfect opportunity. If we're going to see it, we'll see if that takes place tonight, but
because you're not going to see it against the Bengals, I don't think,
No.
with Jamar. You're
unless
not
they want Trent McDuffie to travel with Jamar, but I think
you're not
that
gonna
might be more matchup driven.
You probably won't see it against the Falcons because I think Drake London, you probably want a little bigger body because he's almost exclusively outside. Maybe you'll see him with Darnell Mooney, actually. That could be a good one there, just size-wise. And then with the Chargers, Ladd McConkey.
But do you want McDuffie, like, just traveling with Darnell Mooney?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I doubt it.
I think you're right. This is very intriguing to see, especially week one. We have our best opportunity to see this.
So America's game took place last night, and it is Dylan's favorite night of the year. And Dylan, you have no criticisms and no issues with America's game last night?
Not
You were totally
many.
fine with it?
Not many.
You
I know
loved
that
it?
you're leading me into our conversation we had earlier, but the intro. I'm nitpicking a little bit, but they just every time they Mickey Mouse our intro, they don't do the full America's Game intro. They just speed right through it and get right to it. They skip the first game opening night ceremony. I know we lost, but it kind of is the story. They kind of skip around and hop around, and they didn't really give a lot of credit. They gave some because the Spags we trust, but they really didn't touch on the defense as far as like the totality of the year and how we leaned on the defense a lot during the final stretch. It was kind of like, oh, Mahomes and Kelsey, they just figured it out.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not really factual, but here I am, I'm like the Siskel and Ebert of America's Game.
You actually are. If there's somebody that's going to judge all of the America's games,
it's a niche.
it's Dylan.
Yeah, it's a very
Because he's seen
specific.
all of them. He watches them multiple times, and he knows the difference with the intros of all the America's games to where he has an actual beef on how short the intro is for the Chiefs in America's game.
Hey, where do I send my complaints?
Do you fall asleep watching this? Is this
America's
is
Game
it,
at times?
you know, like how some people like fall asleep watching game shows or like The Office? Dylan
Sometimes.
just has on like
White
NFL
noise.
Classic. Yeah.
White noise. Yeah.
I will
You watch things that you've seen so you don't get intrigued. and stay
exactly
up.
so you can fall asleep. Yeah, I'm with you. I will say when I hear America's Game, all I can think about is it's America's Game, Wheel of Fortune.
Says the guy who goes to sleep to game shows.
I'm old.
Oh, that's true.
I am old.
Yeah.
You and your lovely future bride watch the
books.
Game Show Network a lot.
We do watch a lot of Family Feud and
America's Game.
America's Game, Wheel of Fortune,
See,
Jeopardy.
You guys and Dylan fall asleep to America's Game.
Exactly.
We both fall asleep to America's Game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of In Spags We Trust, let's play this one because we're talking about the Ravens and a little bit of maybe revenge on the mind of the Baltimore Ravens. This is a clip from America's Game last night, and it's a couple of things in here. It starts off with the Steve Spagnuolo, Spags We Trust, and then gets into the game against the Ravens and what took place there.
With a return trip to the Super Bowl on the line, the Chiefs would have to find a way to stop league MVP Lamar Jackson. A task given to Steve Spagnuolo, better known as Spags.
In Spags We Trust.
You know, in Spags we trust, baby.
It's like more so of a thing that started with the players because we don't think our defensive coordinator gets talked about as much as he should. We're so infatuated with offense. Then when you go outside the offense, then it's the Swifties. It's like, there's just so much to be distracted from, but the most dominant piece is Spags.
Yeah, I think that's a great tribute to Spags and what he's all about. Guys do what he asks, and they trust him. That word trust is such a big thing in the National Football League, and if you've earned that, which you do as a coach, you earn that, and he's got that from his guys. They're printing up T-shirts. That means they believe in what he's throwing to them, and that means they're going to go 110 miles an hour doing it.
The defense's trust in Spags was evident. So was the pressure on Lamar Jackson.
They're bringing pressure against Lamar. They've been doing it the whole game.
You know, containing Lamar, make him a pocket passer. If we can make Lamar stick in the pocket and throw the ball, then we got our chances of winning. It can go up because he's a dangerous quarterback outside of the pocket. But he also can throw the ball inside the pocket, but we'll just like to keep him there.
Lamar to throw, looking to the right, nothing there, fires down the middle, back in the end zone, and it's intercepted! Yeah! Go down!
The defense had their trust in Spags. The offense had their trust in Kelsey and Mahomes.
Go all day, boy! All day, boy! He can't guard him! He can't guard him, dog! Great job, great big time catch, dog.
That's a heck of a football team. And, to be able to come out and move the ball against that defense was really something.
Mahomes lobbed the ball as he was hit. The ball was to the right of Kelsey, who laid out and made a catch on a fluttering pass. Good play, boy!
Well, that play was able to work because I screwed it up, and I really needed to make a play for 1-5 there.
I mean, of course, Travis ran the wrong route, and he ended up getting the football.
And that tandem delivered again.
Travis made a lot of big-time plays on 4th down, touchdown catches, 3rd down conversions.
You know, Pat does an unbelievable job of being confident in situations like that. When the play breaks down, that's kind of when he's at his most dangerous because there's no structure to it.
I just loved it. I had to make a play for 1-5 because I messed up the route. But of course, Travis ran the wrong route.
I love the of course Travis ran the wrong route. That's the of course.
Yeah. And then to hear the Ravens call there with Lamar drops back, looks right, throws it over the middle. And then the color comes, oh, no. And it's intercepted in the end zone. Oh, no. While the ball's in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's nice when you're on this side of it with the oh-nos. And things like that. But they did. I mean, obviously, the in Spags we trust. That was,
Yeah.
And Dylan's right. It was a small part
That was it.
of America's game in talking about how good the defense was. And it's something that I talked about after the Super Bowl, that because of the way the season ended, with Mahomes driving down the field to get the field goal to tie the game in the last possession, then driving down the field to get the touchdown to win the game in the overtime possession, and Mahomes winning his 3rd Super Bowl MVP, and the overall dynasty, and Mahomes' place in NFL history, there would be a glossing over of what the defense did for this team to help win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I don't think around here that's happened as much as maybe nationally it has. I think detractors and haters of Patrick Mahomes have certainly paid attention to how good the defense was, while ignoring Tom Brady's defense and Joe Burrow's defense and Josh Allen's defense, and on and on and on.
Yeah.
They certainly made it out to be the only reason the Chiefs won was because of the defense. No, they had a really good defense. They had a subpar to their standard offense, but they had the greatest quarterback living right now.
Yeah.
Currently playing.
Yeah, you should
You
probably
can talk about GOAT this and GOAT that, but they had the most talented quarterback that ever lived playing on their team, and a guy who just finds ways to make plays. Like, they had that going in their favor. But you've got an entire episode of America's Game, and they go through all of these different games in the playoffs and the freezing temperatures in Miami and going to Buffalo and winning and the Super Bowl and the Ravens, and along the way throughout the season and the struggles of the offense and trying to figure things out. And it's about 45 seconds of in Spags we trust.
Well, even Chris Jones talking about how it's the offense, then it's
And
the
then it's
Swifties.
It's like people love the offense, so it's the offense, and then it's the Swifties, and then you get around to the defense eventually.
Then maybe special teams, maybe Butker and
Butker and the holding of Tommy Townsend.
Yeah.
And even in that clip, they go right into, and they also put their trust in Mahomes and Kelsey, like at the end of the game.
Yeah. Right, because the in Spags we trust was as much a part as Kelsey and Mahomes in that game when the defense gave up 10 points to the Ravens and the offense scored 17 points. Yes, Mahomes and Kelsey's connection were amazing. The fourth down, first
Yeah.
drive, throw, catch, unbelievable. The touchdown catch, unbelievable. That third down play where Kelsey had to come back, spin around, and then, as the Baltimore Ravens commentator said, flop to the ground on a wobbly football, which is a great description because that's kind of what happened. But all of that, while the defense gave up 10 points to one of the best offenses in the NFL last year in the Ravens. So
you know what America's Game doesn't forget about the defense?
What is
That's
it?
Pat Sajak and Vanna White. Those America Game folks do not forget about the defense.
is that right?
Yeah.
Vanna White's all. Oh my God.
What?
I stopped myself.
What were you going to say,
Let's
Jason?
take a break. More Zone next. All right, folks, I've told you about the testosterone replacement therapy at Heartland Men's Health. And if you are wondering about what your T level is, you can go to heartlandmenshealth.com and take the low T quiz on their website. Breaking news. Breaking news coming down the wire just 4 minutes ago. Chiefsaholic has been sentenced to, what was our over-under? We set it at 15.75?
I think we
So
did
like
15 and
we
a
did
half.
like 192 months or something like that was the over-under. Chiefsaholic has been sentenced to 17 and a half years in prison or 210 months. That means Dylan, Mick, and I start off with 1 point in our
I feel like this is
in
a
our
little
ZOUs. Sterling
It's the
is
only way
already
you can
down
beat
by a
me.
point.
It's the only way you can beat me.
Why is you getting something wrong? Yeah, I mean that's
No,
typically
it's
how it works.
non-sports related. That's the only way you can
How is
beat
that
me.
non-sports related? There's an over/under.
We're quite frankly, we're all winners. By the way, that it was an over.
Yeah, that was over 15 and a half.
We're all winners here.
His attorney, and we'll see if he has any more pun-related commentary outside of the courtroom today. They were asking for 10 years. The prosecutor's asking for 20. 17 and a half years. Good. Deserved it.
It wasn't even a. They couldn't just do a flat number because there'd be a player. You know, there'd be a player reference
17.
involved.
You got McCole Hardman. Damn it.
17 and a half, though.
Yeah, 210 months. He'll get out. He'll be out to watch the last couple years of Patrick Mahomes' career. Right? Are we good with that? I mean, be 44?
I guess.
He's going to play till he's 47. What are you talking about?
Easy 50.
Ken Swanson next. 360 Sports Network, the Casey Laboratory podcast today?
Oh, so yeah, we got the KCSN post-game show tonight, so we're going to be doing that. We're going to have Jeff Schwartz on, so I'm really excited to get some hot takes about this game right after it happens, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Kent Swanson is our guest. Let's talk about this game. We'll talk about the Chiefs overall in the season as well. I know at KCSN you put out I think it was yesterday is when it came out, your full season predictions, which we're going to do coming up in the next hour here in the show. We'll give our Chiefs record and what we think is going to happen in all the different divisions and who we think the Chiefs will beat in the Super Bowl, because let's be honest. So we'll do that in the next hour, but you did that. So I want to ask you about that here in just a little bit. But one of the themes in Baltimore in the offseason, and, you know, the sort of Ravens and Ravens analysts and fans talking about it, is this, quote, revenge from the AFC Championship game for the Ravens. Does revenge matter in this matchup tonight? Like, in reality, the Ravens coming into Arrowhead Stadium tonight, is the motivation revenge? Because, I mean, even if they win, Kent, they're 5 months away from getting back to the spot they were when they lost to the Chiefs for the quote-unquote revenge.
Yeah, I'm trying, they'll learn. They'll learn like, Buffalo has learned, like some of these other teams have learned that are out here to try to get revenge on the Kansas City Chiefs. If you put too much effort and energy into a regular season game and treat it as your revenge, it's not going to end well for you. I don't know if there's going to be a ton of extra motivation that they're able to drum up, because this is football. It's really hard to, to lock in a little bit differently just out of, pure spite. And if you do, you're probably going to find out that in the playoffs they're going to get the best of you anyway. I just think about some of these teams that have come in and try to play the Chiefs for revenge, and it's a field goal game. It's not like they're going to come in and really be able to beat the brakes off the Chiefs, I don't think. I think, if you're going to get revenge, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to require, someone on the Chiefs to make a mistake, most likely for you to win anyway. So I don't take too much stock into that. I think, everybody's going to be so locked in because it's the first game of the season, because it's the start of a new season, and the stakes are high just in general outside of revenge for placement in the AFC, which winds up, mattering most of the time unless Patrick Holmes is on the other side of the field.
Yeah, it is amazing what last year's postseason run has done for me, Kent, where, the last few years it has been all about like a lot of pressure and stress about some regular season games to get the number one seed, so you get the home field advantage, because as we know, Chiefs had never had to go on the road before. And last year, going to Buffalo, going to Baltimore, it set my mind and my stress level at ease. Obviously, I want the Chiefs to go out and win. I've got an investment in that in some of the sports books, is for them to win a certain amount of games. In fact, alternate lines for the win total for me with the Chiefs this year. But like it showed last year that the one seed matters, but it didn't matter a year ago. So if the Chiefs were to lose to the Ravens, it's not like, oh my God, the rest of the year you're scoreboard watching and feeling like you're chasing Baltimore so that you can get a chance to win in the playoffs. I think it certainly matters for other teams because they don't want to come into Arrowhead. But, that did a lot for me last year, Kent. Not that the regular season is immaterial and it doesn't matter. It's just I don't put as much weight and pressure on the Chiefs getting the one seed as I did the previous 5 years.
Yeah, and that's a blessing and a curse a little bit. I don't think this team wants to rest on their laurels though, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I think the leadership on this team does not want to go through what they went through. I mean, imagine we know what we went through as fans watching this team struggle and slump, but imagine being in the building and having to navigate through and slog through all that. I don't think the leadership on this team wants to experience that again. So, yes, there might be struggles here or there, and it might be a tight race, and they may not always get the one seed. But I don't think that this group of leadership, specifically Patrick Mahomes, wants what happened last year to happen again, or will let what happened last year happen again. I have a hard time believing that they're just going to, be content. And that's a good thing. That's a good place to be. It's funny, the Chiefs have a down year and still win a Super Bowl. And so I think some of the sentiments and emotions and feelings that they felt in the building during that rough stretch still exist, which is probably a good thing when you're going for a three-peat and trying to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Ken Swanson's our guest. Do you think that when we look back, and it sort of depends on what happens the next couple of years, if the Chiefs win a three-peat this year, or if they fall short and maybe they win next year and they get 3 out of 4 and 4 out of 6 or whatever it is, the exact math. You think we'll look back over a dynasty and go, man, 2023 is when you should have got them. I mean, that was a year that they should not have won the Super Bowl. They were talented. The defense was really good, and not to dismiss that, but looking back, like, that was the year. They went on the road. They had to go to Buffalo. They had to go to Baltimore. They had to beat San Francisco in neutral site. Some of the best teams in the NFL, the toughest road in NFL history for a team to take to win a Super Bowl, and their worst offense with Patrick Mahomes. How in the hell did somebody not get them that year?
Oh, that's definitely going to be one of the storylines. Kind of like Tom Brady, getting his 7th, his last ring. I mean, I'm not comparing him entirely, but that's a stat padding one right there. And I don't want to discredit what this team did, call it just a stat pad last year either, because they found a way to play a brand of football that that was worthy of being a champion. Don't get me wrong, but. I do think that was a missed opportunity for the league. And I think there's a huge difference between 1 and 2, and there's a massive, massive difference between 2 and 3 when you're talking quarterback legacy and when you're talking dynasty. Like, it does cement that dynasty, like people kind of said, that this is a dynasty now. And so the fact that it came on the back of a season where nothing seemed to go right, and this team was in disarray at the receiver position, and the offensive struggles were just so uncommon. The fact that they still found a way to find, to win a Super Bowl is, we're going to look back with a lot of appreciation for this one. And, I think teams on the outside looking in are going to bemoan the fact that they weren't able to get the Chiefs. The Holmes continues to tamp down the legacies of quarterbacks doing it. Last year, he tamped down the legacy of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson on his way to making it back to the Super Bowl. That's part of what's so impressive about this run, and doing it last year even was remarkable as well.
Yeah, you're talking about, 5 quarterbacks, right? Brady, Bradshaw, Montana, Aikman, Mahomes. I mean, when you mention 2 as opposed to 3, that's the list that Mahomes already joined last year by winning his 3rd Super Bowl. Kent Swanson is our guest. And also, just like a quick nugget, as we're talking about like playoffs and what happened last year and maybe feeling like it was the year that you should have got him. Like, I understand the revenge aspect from Baltimore. I do. I get it. I understand the lead up to it, the off season, the building their team, the wanting to show that they're better than whatever happened in the AFC Championship game, fans, etc. I get all that. But like, the Chiefs' revenge over the Bengals was in the AFC Championship game. They didn't get revenge in the regular season. Like, they weren't talking in 2022 about, we got to get revenge for what happened in the AFC Championship game last year in the regular season game against the Bengals. They talked about all season long, it was about getting a chance to play them in the playoffs again, and they did and got revenge there, not in week 14 or 15. Just another small aside to what goes on tonight and some of the narrative that I think will be presented, certainly, because, you're building up different narratives for this game, and it's going to be about, the Chiefs playing a team whose last game was against the Chiefs. They've won the Super Bowl 3 times. They've started the season on Thursday night 3 times, in this era. And 2 of those are against a team that played their last game in the playoffs against the Chiefs. And tonight will be certainly no different. Ken Swanson, KCSN.substack.com, the KC Laboratory Podcast. How much do you think the offense will take a step forward this year from what it looked like last year? If we say, 2022, it was the best offense in the NFL by DVOA. Last year, it was around 10 or 11, whatever it might have been. It felt middle of the pack. Closer to 1 this year. It doesn't have to be the best, but closer to 1 than 10. How much do you think the offense takes a step forward with the additions that they've made?
I don't think it's closer to 1. I think it's 1. I think this is going to be the best offense in the National Football League this year. I'm all in on what we've seen to this point. I'm so excited about the prospects of Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, pairing with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. And, by the way, put Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield there. That's probably the best 1 through 5 skill group that Patrick Mahomes has ever played with. That is a deep group of offensive skill players, and we've never seen that before. There's always, and I'm not going to completely discredit a Byron Pringle or a Demarcus Robinson, but there's always been one of those guys on the field. And the best version of this offense is not going to have anybody that you're disappointed gets the football. I think there's, 4 really quality, capable pass catchers, that in your best 11, right? And the idea that, any pass in the air is going to somebody that you have a lot of confidence in and belief in. What I've seen out of Xavier Worthy gives me a lot of confidence early, and we have a track record with the other 3. I think the vertical passing game gets back, and I think that opens things up tremendously for Rashee Rice. I think about just the fact that if Rashee Rice is able to do kind of what Juju Smith-Schuster was able to do 2 years ago and catch balls on the run because there's more space for him to catch balls on the run and get yards after the catch, I mean, Rashee Rice could – things are going to be so much easier for him in year 2. I can't wait to see what that looks like. I'm all in on this offense.
How much do you think Xavier Worthy will play? Let's just say tonight. Let's talk specifically about tonight. That was a full look at the offense overall this year, and I'm with you. I'm not sure I'm ready to go number 1. I would love to go number 1, but I think it's going to be pretty close. I think they're going to be a top 2 or 3 offense in the NFL, which, is obviously going to be much improved from a year ago. But let's just say tonight, without Hollywood Brown in there, Xavier Worthy, a guy who obviously could be a big addition to this team for what he does for other guys. How much do you expect him to play? Do you think he'll be a regular wide receiver? They'll have certain packages set up for him. They'll have him on the field to either take some deep shots or decoy for other guys. What do you think the game plan might be for Xavier Worthy tonight?
All right, so McCole Hardman's first 2 games of his career, he played 78 and 73% of the snaps. Now, part of that was because of Tyreek Hill's absence, right? And so that's partially what I'm taking into consideration. If Hollywood Brown's out, we've got McCole Hardman, playing 78% of his snaps in his first game as a professional. I think you're going to see a similar share of snaps for a Xavier Worthy. I think he's in that 75-80% range. I think they're going to put him on the field a lot because I think he's their second best receiver right now. And he's a guy that completely changes the math. It changes the coverage. It changes the explosive ability of this team. So I think they're going to put him on the field at a high clip and get him, forcing that secondary to chase him down all the game and wear that defense out and open some things up underneath. And, I think he's getting a big one tonight. I think he's scoring an explosive touchdown. I think this team wants to try to get the ball down the field. I think they're going to find an opportunity to get Xavier Worthy a touchdown, and he's going to be playing a lot of snaps in this first game. Okay,
so let me ask you this then, along with that. What would you set the over-under on how many times Mahomes takes a shot over the top? They don't have to connect on it, not how many receptions he has, but how many times Mahomes takes a shot, let's say, at least 25 air yards from the line of scrimmage. I know the quote-unquote deep pass, a deep touchdown, is 20 air yards from the line of scrimmage, not a 20-yard pass, but let's just go 25. How many do you think they at least attempt tonight, whereas last year it felt like that just put that out of the playbook? We can have somebody run deep, but Mahomes, there's no reason to waste a down on this one because you're not going to connect on it, and they still aren't going to respect it even if you don't connect on it. So what would you put the over-under on tonight?
Outside of just Xavier Worthy, I think they'll air it out 5 times, 6 times. They're going to really try to get that ball down the field a little bit. I think if you're capping it at 25, I think it change even a little bit more because I do think that 15 to 25 range can be very exploitable just based on how much space this offense is able to create. So I don't know how many air yards that corner out to Xavier Worthy was in the preseason, but I think that's an area of the field that they can really attack too. But I do think they're going to be very downfield minded, aggressive, and I think they're going to connect on a couple big plays down the field, over 25 yards in the air. I think good things are going to happen, and it'll be fun to watch. But everything, it'll be fun to watch how the defense reacts because I think there's a lot of problems for defenses underneath if they don't.
Visiting with Kent Swanson, kcsn.substack.com, the KC Laboratory Podcast is our guest here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're heading up until 2 o'clock. We got our predictions coming up an hour from now. Let's talk about Travis Kelce. Pretty sure a significant other will be in the stands tonight, real or not, but she'll be in the stands tonight. Let me ask you from this standpoint. How much do you think Kelce has left in the tank? Will he look, if he looks anything like last year, I mean, I'll take it right now. I'll settle out of court for that. How much do you think he has left in the tank?
Man, it's hard to bet against Travis Kelce when Travis Kelce's healthy. So I think he could even have I think he's back to having a 1,000-yard season. Now, I think it cuts close, and I think the Chiefs try to manage his snaps a little bit. But you heard Travis Kelce say, even this week, he doesn't want to be put on a snap count. I think last year was a little bit of an anomaly because he is a guy, with 2 days before he gets hurt before the first game of the season, kind of throws the Chiefs off their access early in the season. And he takes a little bit of time to recover. It takes him a little bit of time to kind of, to get back into the swing of things a little bit. If he's healthy and he's walking into this season healthy, I think he could look a lot closer to what we saw, in the back end of the season. And if that's the case, that's a guy that's still highly productive and still the best tight end in football. So I think this is a bounce back year for him statistically, as long as he's staying healthy and doesn't have something derail a season.
I saw the stat yesterday, and I talked with Cynthia Freeland about this specifically. And from Next Gen Stats, they were talking about Travis Kelce, and last year his average speed on his routes was 11.6 miles per hour, whereas from 2020, just going back to 2020, it was 12.4 miles per hour. So it's almost a full mile per hour slower. And so I asked Cynthia, I'm like, so what do you make of that? Because to be, full context, last year was two of his fastest top speeds of his entire career happened last year. One of those in the Super Bowl against the 49ers on that third down 22-yard catch that set him up with that final play before going into overtime. So her answer was his depth of target is lower. So if you're running shorter routes, you're going to be slower. She doesn't think it's a Travis Kelce has lost a step. She looks at it as he was running shorter routes last year because of the way the offense was. Does that make sense? Would you go along with that as opposed to Kelce's losing a mile an hour from a couple of years ago to, Kelce's running routes differently? Also, I do wonder, Kent, how much he's sort of surveying while he's running a route as opposed to a line on a piece of paper.
They brought McCole Hardman back because there was no space to operate, and they have two really great underneath receivers in Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice. That the space was limited, and teams were able to sit down on that on that offense and not show a ton of respect because there wasn't anything to really challenge them vertically. That's why they tried to bring the vertical passing game back with McCole. It didn't go great. They finally were able to hit a couple vertical shots, later in the season. And things opened up a little bit for Travis Kelce. So I think there's probably a little bit of what the entirety of the scheme looked like. Travis Kelce's game's not built on speed right now anyway, and the majority of his value exists where he is on such a same page as Patrick Mahomes, and he can read coverage tremendously, and he's able to find space, and Patrick Mahomes throws him the ball to space. So by the way, he was. I'm curious what he looked like speed-wise down the home stretch because, I would think a knee injury might slow you down a little bit for a while too. So, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. I do think with the full version of this offense and the vertical stretchability of Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, I think that changes everything for how everything underneath has to get treated as well.
How much do you think, and last one, and then I want to get into a couple of specifics to the Ravens game, but how much do you think the defense may take a step back this year, if at all?
That's the big question. I think you can take a step back. I think it's just I'm fascinated to see if it's a fallback to what we're kind of accustomed to in Kansas City, like a middle of the pack defense, maybe low teens, in scoring, something like that, or is it or is it just a small step back because of the absence of L'Jarius Sneed? This defense is largely intact. A lot of the players from last year are back, which is great from a continuity perspective. And I think that's something that was very valuable to this defense taking a step from year one to year two is a lot of young players were here for year 2, and so they were able to hit the ground running earlier. They were able to get more elaborate with their coverage because of the players they trusted in the back end of their secondary. Now, there's a lot of trust understanding of this defense from this group, but they don't necessarily have the same horses because of L'Jarius Sneed. So I think there's two things that, one could be a positive for the outlook of this defense, and just simply not having L'Jarius Sneed could maybe fall back to the median. But even if they fall back to kind of where they've historically been, I mean, hey, they've got a much improved offense, especially with Hollywood Brown's back, and I think they don't need that defense to be all world anymore. So it's the big question for me in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Kent Swanson, kcsn.substack.com, the Casey Laboratory Podcast. All right, tonight, Chiefs, Ravens. Do you think the Ravens overcompensate for the criticisms all offseason of, quote, abandoning the run game, and they run it, no matter success, if they do have it or don't have it, that they just sort of make sure like the entire game plan is going to be running the football? Do you think that's the case, or will they play off of what the Chiefs think and people think will be overcompensating, so they'll run a lot of play action with Lamar?
I think it's probably a mixture of both. I mean, this is a new team with a new identity in some ways, because they do have a different running back in the backfield. Like it's not a complete wholesale change, but this is a much different offensive line, and this is a different running backfield. So when you look at that, you've got to kind of figure out, okay, how much changes from last year. I think this team wants to run the football a little bit more in this game than they did in the AFC Championship game. One, to help get the feet wet of that offensive line that's still working to gel together, have some new faces. I believe 3 of the 5 are new from last year. So how do you handle that? So I run the football a little bit, get Derrick Henry comfortable, try to set that tone a little bit. I think they try, but and a little play action makes some sense too. I actually anticipate they're going to play a lot of 12 personnel, because Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews are both back on the field together.
Yeah.
So I think that with the offensive line, you probably see him running the ball a little bit more.
I think we're going to see a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. I think they have been longing for Derrick Henry. They tried to trade for him last year. He's been a guy they have coveted, and they got him. And I think they are just going to give the ball to him, and Lamar's going to keep it, and then play off of that with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Because I think tonight Trent McDuffie travels with Zay Flowers. And so I think you have that ability for the Chiefs. He's not going to travel with every receiver, right? I mean, Spagnuolo, Dave Merritt talked about that they're going to just try to play it by matchups, because as Dave Merritt said, a 5'10 corner, he's 5'11. So Dave Merritt was not talking about Trent McDuffie. But he was talking about people that are smaller than Trent McDuffie specifically. So let's make sure we're on the same page there. Dave Merritt, that was nothing to do with McDuffie, but different sort of matchups. This is one. Their best receiver, Trent McDuffie, if he was going to travel with a receiver, tonight's a perfect matchup for him to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I think that could be a lucrative matchup for the Chiefs, a smart matchup for the Chiefs, especially when you look at Zay Flowers' short area quickness. I think that can be a challenge for a Jalen Watson and a Joshua Williams to try to, you've got to get hands on him. If you don't get hands on him, it could be problematic for those guys trying to chase him around. And you look at the body types of a Rashad Bateman.
Yep.
That's a great matchup for a Jalen Watson and a Joshua Williams. So I'd take that into consideration for sure. And I could see Trent McDuffie following Zay Flowers around a little bit this game.
Ken Swanson's our guest. Couple of quick ones here. Season-long X factor for you for a Chiefs player. You can go offense and defense, or you can just go one guy. Up to you. Season-long X factor you think may make a difference one way or another for the Chiefs, realizing their ceiling or coming closer to their floor.
I'm all in on Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy's going to have a fantastic season. I'm a big believer in him and what he brings to this offense. And I know Hollywood Brown's going to do tremendous things too, but I think they want him to work more in the middle, the short to intermediate, and they want Xavier Worthy too. But I think Worthy is a vertical stretch player, and perhaps the best vertical stretch player that they've had since Tyreek Hill. I think, the Deshaun Jackson comps are fair and valid, and I think he's a guy that, if he does what we think he can do for this offense, can change the entirety of how it's treated. And be very productive while doing so. So I think Xavier Worthy is an X factor on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, I think it's George Karlaftis taking another step because I think, Chris Jones needs another running mate up front on the defensive line. And, if they can get more pressure, it can kind of help, maybe if they do have some issues on the back end of the defense. So more pressure and an improved game from George Karlaftis could go a long way in this team finding success.
All right, most impactful rookie this year. I mean, again, you may have already said it there on the offensive side with the X Factor, but maybe impact and X Factor might be different.
Worthy same, but Kingsley Suamataia is pretty close to there, right? Because he's taking. We haven't really spent enough time talking about the fact that the Chiefs are rolling out a rookie left tackle second round pick, to protect the franchise. And I think there's been a lot of positive signs for him. The limited snaps we've seen have been pretty good. And this team seems to have treated him like a lock, from pretty quick. They pretty much gave him this job very quickly. I know it was kind of a competition, but it didn't ever really feel like a competition early on. Didn't get a ton of snaps in the preseason, so that tells you the level of confidence they have in this kid. He could go a long way in helping this offense, light the world on fire. So, Kingsley's a pretty big factor too.
All right, prediction for tonight. Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens. What do you think happens and who you got winning?
Oh, I got the Chiefs winning 28-21. I don't know if it's like a super stressful game. I'm not saying out of disrespect to the Baltimore Ravens. I have a feeling the Chiefs are going to start hot. Then they'll kind of manage the second half a little bit and show what they need to show and, kind of hold on to the football when they need to. So I'm winning 28-21. I think the Chiefs kind of manage this game from the jump. They start hot, both sides of the football, and good things happen. And enjoy watching that banner drop, Baltimore.
Nice. Final record for the Chiefs this year. What do you got?
I think, what did I do? I think I went 14-3.
14-3. That a kid.
14-3.
That a kid.
I think that's, and I think the last loss was Week 18 because they have the bye locked up.
Makes
so they're
sense.
going to lose to the Denver Broncos in the last game. They're 14-2 walking into the last game, but they don't need it because they've got the 1-2 locked up in the AFC. So I think that loss in San Francisco, loss in Buffalo. You got to find a couple somewhere. Those are the most logical.
Yeah, that makes sense. I went over on the alternate line, 13.5 for the Chiefs. So I like the 14-3 pick. Kent Swanson, KCSN.substack.com, the KC Laboratory Podcast. Kent, you're the man as always. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the post game as well. And we will catch up in a couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, really excited to get this thing going. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, there's Kent Swanson, KCSN.substack.com, and the KC Laboratory Podcast joining us. Appreciate talking with him every couple of weeks. We'll talk with Matt Lane next week when we get set for the Cincinnati Bengals game against the Chiefs, and we'll see what ends up happening tonight. He's got a 28-21 win for the Kansas City Chiefs and a 14-3 overall record. We'll get into our predictions coming up in the noon hour. We take a timeout. We come back. We continue rolling more on this Thursday game day edition of The Zone at Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Whenever it comes down to it, you're in the Super Bowl, you have to just kind of lay it all on the line. And that's why a lot of times I run more in the playoffs than in the Super Bowl. And defenses are trying to cover all our weapons, and they don't really account for me running, and I'm able to try to kind of find those lanes through the offensive line. And it just seems like the Super Bowl is always has me running at some point.
Hey, that boy want to run around like he Mike Vick. We need Pat Vick. We need Pat Vick. Hey, you got to fuck with this kid.
Yeah, it's this.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know he's doing it.
When he gets in his super competitive mode, he's locked in, because it's almost like he's doing this to try and get, the next play in fast enough so he can register it.
Kind of when that momentum starts going in our favor, I want him to call the plays fast. And I think it's kind of like when the basketball team goes on a run and the other team has to call a timeout, you want to put the pressure on them, and I think that's when you start getting stuff going in your direction.
It's weird because in my mind, when I think about Patrick Mahomes doing that, I think about a play that didn't work. I think about like an incomplete pass, or it got stopped in the backfield and he's immediately looking over to the sideline. All right, give me. It doesn't feel like it's a, Auburn and Gus Malzahn used to do the roll it when they would get a first down on first down.
Yeah.
So anytime it was a first down play and they picked up a first down, that's when they would roll it. Get up to the line of scrimmage, roll it, keep it going, roll it. Here we go, rolling. Working downhill. Like you knew that was specific to their strategy. First down on first down, we're going fast. It doesn't feel like Mahomes with the finger, like, give me the next play, is like, we just picked up a first down, next play, let's go, let's keep it going. It almost feels like, and maybe it's anecdotal, and just maybe it's when the camera just happens to catch him, and we see that. It always feels like, to me, it's like a play that he's annoyed with, that it didn't work out. All right, give me the next play, let's go. And it could be that.
Sure.
Where Kelsey said it's sort of in his competitive mode of, hurry up and give me the next play so I can register it. To me, it's almost like, all right, bleep, next play, let's go.
Yeah.
Next play, let's go. We're getting this here. I want to know what's going on. Give me the next play. We're getting out of here, and we're going to fix whatever just took place on first or second down.
I hope he does it on 4th and 1. No
He's
punts.
done it before.
No point. No, hey, Andy, we're not punting. Come on.
Oh, he's done it before.
Give
He's
me
like,
the
come on,
play.
give me the play. Give me the play. It's 4th down, and then he ends up jogging off the field.
Yeah.
More times than not. Although Andy, sometimes will surprise you. We'll see if he does that tonight, if he'll go for short 4th downs as opposed to field goals.
You get the Man of Steel tonight.
Yeah. But I Do you when you think of him doing that, do you think of him coming off big plays or like when more frustrated
He's
Mahomes?
frustrated.
Yeah, that's what. And maybe it is that competitive prick kicking in, like Eric Bieniemy said. That now I'm just pissed off about this play not working. Give me the damn next play. Let's go.
I'm trying to think of like an adult equivalent in our world where would it be bowling? Like bowling. Like let's say you gutter ball one, you are waiting and hoping that the next ball comes out so you can not look
You're doing it. You're doing it to the ball spitter outer. You're just
ball spitter outer. That's what it's called.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Is that the official name? Ball spitter outer?
Yeah, ball spitter outer. Typically, like when you press the button to talk back to the people that work there, like, hey, the ball spitter outer, it's not working. Like, oh man, hey Jeff, ball spitter outer's not working over there on lane 5.
What do you call it?
That's what it says here on the patent.
The return.
So, yeah.
The ball return.
Yeah, that's it. The return.
I like ball spitter outer.
I like it
way
too.
better.
Yeah, I like ball spitter outer.
Trademark.
Yeah, you should do that. You our circle copyright that thing, man. Come on, dude. Get that money. Get that money. Just like the when they win this year, Chiefs, Pete. Copyright that, man.
Top Golf. Sterling would know, and if you hit a bad shot, you are.
Well, in golf, maybe that's what it is. You hit a bad shot, you're like, all right, let me get out there and get the net. Or me, it's like I hit a bad shot, and I'm like, did anybody see that? All right, I'm just going to drop another one here.
Or you hit a bad shot, and you're like, it was an iron, and you're like, oh, I don't want to hit an iron ever again. Give me. I'm going to putt this. Sterling, you're 80 yards up. Yeah, I feel a little more comfortable here. Little more comfortable here.
Or you hit a bad shot with your foot wedge, and you're like, oh, darn it, that wasn't a good enough foot wedge. Hey, look, over there, deer.
Sounds like
look,
you
kid's
cheat
a deer.
lot. Sounds like Jason cheats a lot.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I just found my ball. It's in the fairway.
Anderson, golf's a gentleman's sport.
I'm on the fringe, guys.
Me and Jason play the same style and brand of golf, actually. So
look, kids, deer. I found my ball. It's right there next to yours, Sterling. We both drove it 290 right down the middle. It's
crazy. I keep one in your pocket all the time. So you just drop it.
Dude, you're not wrong about that, man.
Gosh,
come on.
You guys
found it.
Are...
I'm not playing
Arnold
on the PGA
Palmer
Tour.
You're not even playing golf at this point. Go to a driving range,
I'm not keeping
guy.
my handicap. All right, I'm not doing that. I don't care. I'm just having fun. It's fun for me, okay? I'm trying to have entertainment. The last thing I want to do is ever get so good at golf that when I go out to enjoy a round of golf, it ends up being more annoying and mad and frustrating that I'm out there instead of just enjoying my time on a golf course.
Oh, I'm going to enjoy it.
I don't want to get to that point to where how I play dictates my mood when I'm out there because, if you have a couple of kids, time away may be precious for yourself, and I don't want to spend it being annoyed. I can do that at home with the kids, and I can already.
It's like watching Chiefs games.
Anyway,
it's like watching Chiefs games.
Right? Yeah,
I don't want to be annoyed. I want to watch them, even if they lose. Okay.
Yes, I get a chance to watch Patrick Mahomes tonight.
Yes,
and that's what was annoying last year about some of the offensive struggles. Is that my chance to watch Patrick Mahomes was sometimes that experience was ruined by an offense that wasn't good enough and wasn't up to the standard of playing with a guy like Patrick Mahomes. You don't belong on the field with that guy. It's like Michael Jordan's like, why don't you just do this? Well, because I can't do that, Mike. You can. Yeah, but just do it this way. Do it like this. I can't. It's not as easy for me, okay? Just catch the ball. I can't catch the ball, Patrick, so stop throwing it to me. Fine, we're going to have to let you go. Great. I'm going to go visit Seattle. The Seahawks? Just a Space Needle.
Red Petro here. I'm at InTrust Bank. They're inviting you to a free lunch today. You can come on out. It's Red Thursday. They are celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener, and they're doing it by giving you lunch. Take advantage of it right now. You can get in on the fun at either InTrust Bank location. In Olathe, where Nate is, or Prairie Village, where I am right now. We'll be here till 1 o'clock.
All right, wrapping up this hour. We'll get our predictions coming up on the other side of the break. Go through the Chiefs division, the AFC West, but look at the other divisions as well. See what the Chiefs are going to do this year. Different predictions on the games. MVP, offensive, defensive, rookie of the year, coach of the year. Who the Chiefs beat in the Super Bowl. The general predictions that we'll make. That'll come up in the next segment. And then at 1 o'clock, we'll play one segment of Sports or Leisure, and then we'll get into the last 40 minutes of the show, breaking down specifically what we think will happen in the game, keys to the game, players to watch, how many points they win by, week one. So we'll do that coming up next couple of hours of the show, still rocking some Chiefs football. Game day, 7 hours away.
Hey folks, this is Nate Bucati, and I'm coming to you from Intrust Bank. We are celebrating the kickoff of the 2024 football season tonight, and like they do every year at Intrust Bank, we're doing it in style. I'm at the Olathe location. Soren Petro is going to be at the one in Prairie Village, but if you want to come by and see me, you get yourself a free lunch. They say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Yes, there is. Here at Intrust Bank, we are right to the south of K10 on Ridgeview in Olathe. And all you have to do is show up, grab a plate. The folks from Hy-Vee been grilling up burgers and dogs. They got chips, they got sodas, they got frozen custard here. They've got a tent outside. It's a beautiful day. Literally just come get a free lunch and see the folks at Intrust Bank and be on your way. You can also sign up to win a couple of jerseys. You can sign up to win tickets to the PBR event that's coming up this weekend and grab free lunch while you're at it. We got other kind of giveaways like koozies and footballs and all that stuff as well. Come see us, Intrust Bank, on the south side of K10 and Ridgeview.
2 to go. Then the program takes over at 2 o'clock, leading into Central Bank pregame show coming up at 5 o'clock. And then the first post-game show in the regular season for Jack Johnson. Sports Radio 810 post-game show with Jack Johnson. Right after the game is over, your reactions, takes, opinions, analysis, hearing from the players, the coach out there at Arrowhead Stadium when we know the result, what happened, how it happened, and starting to break down why it happened. I'm a big fan of the why it happened and what happened rather than the what will happen. I like both of them because there's a lead up and an anticipation and an excitement. But I love the breakdown and the analysis of why it happened and how it can change for that next week. We'll do that tomorrow, a lot of that. But season kicks off tonight. We go through what we think will happen for the Chiefs and the NFL this year. It's a cough button right there for you, Sterling, if you want that.
No, I had a little bit of a lemon bar protein trying to get in shape. The Chiefs season has me trying to get in shape.
Is that right? Yeah.
And
is this the time you get in shape right as
summer's
that week?
ending? Right as summer ends, so I can have a
Labor
nice
Day.
winter bod.
Labor Day.
Yeah.
Let's go start working out again.
And so I had this protein bar, and it's
Everybody-
really good, but it's like a little bit like I'm the opposite. Okay, I'm getting ready because football season's here.
Everybody has their winter bod. They always get ready for the
Summer. I feel like winter's getting a little left out, and so I ate this little protein bar. Really good, shockingly, but it was like a lemon crumb, and I got a little of that lemon crumb little stuck there.
I get it, yeah.
And
I get it. Makes sense, you know?
it kind of, I thought I was choking for a second there. I thought I was maybe like a raven or a bill or something like that, but no.
I see what you did there. All right, let's get into some predictions, what we think is going to happen this year. Do we want to go through the Chiefs schedule, or do we want to go through the divisions and awards and Super Bowl matchups first? What do we want to do?
I want Dylan to choose.
Dylan gets to choose. It is in Dylan's court.
Yippee.
It's the court of Dylan. Dylan's court. Chiefs schedule game by game, or let's do the predictions as we go division and then award winners and Super Bowl winners. Winner. Can't be two. It's only one. Only one winner. That's how it works in professional sports.
I think we go game by game.
Game by game. Let's do that. Let's rock that.
Boom.
All right. They start tonight. I'm not going to tell you who wins because then I would totally ruin it for the end of the show. Bated breath people are waiting for to see who Jason is going to pick to win the game. It's really just a matter of what score you pick it by for tonight. People know that I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win the game. So I've got a win for the Ravens tonight, or a win for the Chiefs against the Ravens tonight. What do you guys got? Win?
Yep.
Win? Sterling? Loss? Okay, very good. Marking that as an L for you.
Well, I think they lose one of the first two games.
That's fine. You got to pick one, though.
And
this is part of predictions.
It's based on how I think the season goes. I can't have them going 17-0. So
You
I
can.
But I'd be a liar. I don't believe that.
But here's the thing. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're wrong.
You know what? This is you know what this is called? It's called an emotional hedge. I'm gonna say the Ravens win tonight, but I'm
Okay. All right.
This is my emotional hedge right now.
But they're going to get the Bengals next week.
Yes, that's what it's gonna be.
Okay, so leading into your Bengals, you've got them 1-1 already. I think they beat the Bengals as well. So I think they're 2-0, and they start off 2-0 at home. I know that when the schedule was first released, it's like, oh man, if they only win one of those games, which one would you want? I'll go ahead and take both of those. Dylan, you got the Chiefs Bengals win, loss, WL for the Chiefs.
I'm gonna go a loss to the Bengals.
You guys got them starting off 1-1. I've got them starting off 2-0. Clearly, one of us thinks that the Chiefs are good. Weird.
Homer.
On the road at the
Simpson.
Falcons, Sunday Night Football in Atlanta. I'll go ahead and take the Chiefs knocking off Kirk Cousins in the Atlanta, or Michael Penix by then in the Atlanta Falcons. I still have that as a win for the Chiefs, no matter who the quarterback is.
I think this is actually a lot tougher game than
I
many
agree.
people realize. It's not the Falcons of last year. This is a good Falcons team, but it is prime time. Kirk Cousins on prime time. It'll be a close game, but I like the Chiefs here to move to 2-1.
All right. Dylan, Chiefs, Falcons.
Chiefs.
All right. Next week, Chiefs at Chargers in SoFi Stadium. That's a CBS 325 game of the week. I've got the Chiefs falling for the first time this year in L.A. against the Chargers.
Yeah, I think you're dumb. I think the Chiefs win this game, so I think the Chargers are atrocious this year.
I'm not a big fan of the pick, but somewhere along the lines they're going to have to lose one.
That's why I said week. I'm like, you know what, fine. Let's get out of the way early.
I've got them dropping that one, and one of those to where, man, how'd they lose that game?
Yeah.
There's one that pops up every year, or most of the time every year. Like, how'd they lose that game?
The
like
Colts?
Yeah, like the Colts, the Raiders,
the Titans.
How do they lose these games? What's going on? Dylan in L.A.?
Yeah, I got a loss as well.
Okay, how about that?
Oh, wow.
Sterling's the only one that likes the Chiefs around here.
Yeah, apparently
we're just going back and forth.
Well, we're emotional hedging.
Every single time. Yeah, every single game's an emotional hedge. Monday Night Football, first Monday Night Football of the season for the Chiefs, a home game, Week 5, the week before their bye. They take care of business primetime Monday night against the Saints.
Yeah,
right?
Derek Carr,
DC.
not great against the Chiefs. He did talk about how much he likes Arrowhead and how much he's a fan.
He
but
likes it better when they win, but they just don't do it very often when he's around. So Chiefs over Saints.
Yes, correct.
D?
Yep.
All right. So I've got them 4-1 heading into the bye. You've got them 0-5, Sterling?
I have them 5-1, actually. They've picked up an extra game.
You actually have that's weird. You got 2 wins there.
Yeah.
We picked the Chargers game as a loss. You picked it as a win, so you gave them 2 wins there.
I gave them 2 wins,
That's right. So 4-1 for you, right?
Yes,
You're 1
correct.
loss, and then Dylan, you've got 3-2.
Yep.
3-2 heading into the bye. In San Francisco against the 49ers, they're coming off a bye. That's why I have them winning this game. I've got them beating San Francisco because they've got the bye. We talk about Andy Reid coming off a bye, all of that stuff all the time. So I'm going to go win for the Chiefs against the Niners.
It's off of a bye. It doesn't mean a lot because it's an NFC opponent, so it doesn't have huge implications, ramifications necessarily. I have them losing 4 games, so I guess I'll have them losing to San Fran. That's one of the the only other team that's like on par with the Chiefs. So
okay, Dylan.
Yeah. I got them losing this game as well.
3-3 for Dylan out of the gates for the Chiefs.
Wow, do they miss the playoffs, Dylan? I can't wait to see how Dylan has this one.
5-1, 4-2, 3-3. I like this. 5-1, 4-2, 3-3. They head to Allegiant Stadium, where the Kermit dolls will be out in force there in Vegas with all of the fans that will pack the stadium with only black and silver in there. Or a lot of red and gold, too. I think they go there. I think Patrick Mahomes, this is going to be a little more personal. So, I think that's a win there in L.A.
I'll say
or Vegas.
I'll say Chiefs by at least 2 touchdowns.
Okay. You don't get extra points for that, though.
I'll take a win, too.
Win? Okay. So, I've got them 6-1. You've got them 5-2. And Dylan has them finally above 500 at 4-3. Tampa Bay, Monday night, home game at GEHA Field. They beat the Bucs on Monday night.
I think they do, but I do think it's a bad matchup for the Chiefs cornerbacks. I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, some bigger bodied guys. I think the Chiefs still win, but yeah.
McMillan, a good player they got in the second round. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a win as well.
All right. Denver win. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's a waxing.
It's Sean Payton, though. Dylan,
trust me,
are you thinking
know.
about maybe going
with the
win?
It's one of the hardest games to pick on this schedule.
I bet it is.
Yeah. No,
I bet it is.
Chiefs win this one.
I forgot your love for Sean Payton.
He's a lover of Sean Payton.
Well,
yeah.
You love Sean.
Better and better. So.
All right, I've got him sitting. I've got him sitting 7-1. You've got him sitting 6-2.
7-2 because I have that extra game. Because
stop it, you're confusing me. I'm like, wait, no, we've only done 8 games. 7-1, 6-2, and then 5-3 for Dylan right now.
Yeah.
They head to Buffalo for a Sunday afternoon game in Orchard Park. I have them losing to the Bills in this one. This is their second loss for me. They will be 7-2 at this point with that loss in Buffalo. Sterling?
Yeah.
Loss?
I have them losing in Buffalo because,
Dylan?
I actually have a win.
There you go. So now Dylan and Sterling are have the same exact record now moving forward as they get ready for the Panthers. Sneaky rough game in Carolina for the Panthers. This is going to be the Chiefs all over Carolina here.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs get the win there. All right, all of us a win. Raiders at home. Yes, of course. They will not fall on Black Friday to the Raiders like they did on Christmas Day last year. So
agreed.
We've all got to win there. Chargers at home. I had them losing in L.A. earlier in the season. They take care of business at home. A little Sunday night football. They win that one. Anybody got a Chargers loss?
Nope.
All right. So you still have 3 losses, right?
Correct.
I've got 2 losses. Dylan, you still got 4 or 3? You still got 3 losses. In Cleveland, yeah, they go and beat the Browns.
This is my fourth loss.
Okay.
The reason being is we don't know for sure yet, but last year Cleveland at home had the best defense, like historically good defense. On the road, they were ass. Like if this was in Arrowhead, I would say Chiefs by a lot. But in Cleveland, if the trash cans seemingly hold true, Houston reference there. There's no reason to believe the Browns defense is going to take that much of a step back. So I'll just say that's the fourth loss.
I expect Deshaun Watson to still be Deshaun Watson, so they go and win.
Yeah, I got to win in this one as well.
Texans at home. Last home game of the season.
They protect the house. Chiefs get this one, yeah.
I think the Chiefs get this one too. Dylan, they lose to the Texans?
Yeah, I think the Texans and Chiefs are going to be a good rivalry again.
So you both have them with 4 losses right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I have them with 2 losses right now. In Pittsburgh on Christmas Day on Wednesday, they win the game.
3 days-ish rest, but it's at least
same thing with Pittsburgh.
It's what's fair. They're in the same category. Steelers, Texans, Ravens, Chiefs are all in the same category here to finish the season.
Yep.
And luckily they're not playing the Ravens or the Texans on the 3 days like those 2 teams are. At least they're playing the Steelers.
I think they beat the Steelers, but I also could see them splitting these 2 games. Like whichever one they win, the other one they lose. Like if they beat the Texans, maybe they don't wake up at a 3-day rest, also not playing at home for the Steelers, and then vice versa. If they lose the Texans, they're going to be up for the Steelers to get back.
You both have them 13 or 12-4 right now.
Correct.
And I've got them at 14-2 right now. I've got a loss in Denver in Week 18, Game 17. Because they've got the number 1 seed wrapped up already.
They're sitting their guys.
So they are 14-3.
You don't believe in Carson Wentz
on the season. Sorry, I don't. I believe more in Bo Nix and Sean Payton than Carson Wentz and the
Welcome
backups.
to my side.
I don't. I believe more in Carson and Andy than I do Bo
I know.
Nix.
I know. I do as well. I actually do as well. But that's going to be one where they're resting their guys.
Yeah.
They're getting ready for a couple of weeks from then as the 1 seed. So sitting 14-2, they end 14-3. And you've got a win in Denver?
Yeah, so 13-4.
I was going to say, if they got 4 losses at that point, they probably need to win in Denver to make sure they get the 1 seed or whatever the implications might be.
I have a loss for the same reasons as you, except they're not a 1 seed. Their playoff spots just solidified.
But just already solidified. So you've got them going 12-5. You've got them 13-4. And I've got them 14-3.
Yeah.
It's actually not much of a surprise, really, with the 3 of us.
Dylan's the most.
We all 3 have the over 11.5 in Vegas.
Yeah, you're the most glass. Your glass is full.
Pretty much.
Mine's
always.
in the half,
Yeah,
and Dylan's glass has a slight hole in it.
It's leaking a little bit, but it's still really. It's still got a lot of fluid in
water.
there.
Yeah, still holds water.
Still holding water. Still holding water.
A lot of condensation, though. I mean, your hands are getting
Especially
wet.
for Sean Payton.
We're all in the over of 11.5, and then I've got multiple alternate lines. I've also got an alternate line with the Chiefs over 12.5, and I have an alternate line with the Chiefs over 13.5. Played all of those.
Nice.
So if I hit the 13.5, then I win all 3. See how that works? I definitely think they're getting to. They had the season they had last year, and they won 11 games.
True.
I don't understand the 11.5 because I think the floor for the Chiefs, if everybody's healthy, right? Mahomes. If Mahomes is healthy and they don't have, a bunch of star players go down. But if Mahomes is healthy, I think the floor is 11 wins for the Chiefs. They're that good.
Sure.
The floor is 11 wins. And I think the ceiling is 15 or 16. Like I'm very bullish on this Chiefs team. I think they're a better team than they were a year ago. I know the schedule, the way it lines up, and you want to be realistic and have some losses along the way that you don't expect, and I totally get that, and that may happen.
Yeah.
This may be a phenomenal team that ends up 1 game better, but they're just an overall better team.
Sure.
Just 1 game better than what they were last year at 12-5, like Dylan has them. But it's not as important of getting the 1 seed as it feels like it's been in the years past, because we had an unknown. We were ignorant to what would happen with the Chiefs on the road. We had never seen it. We have no idea in the playoffs. And now we have evidence. We have learned. We have seen this. We know that they can go on the road even with what seems like, in comparison to themselves, an inferior team offensively, a superior defensive team, and go and win those games and have the absolute number 1 literal toughest road for any Super Bowl winner in the history of the game. To play Miami and then go to Buffalo, go to Baltimore, and then neutral site against San Francisco. It is by DVOA, by offense-defense rankings, the toughest road that any team has taken. And that Chiefs team did that. Somehow, that's the Chiefs team that took that road and ended up winning the Super Bowl. So there might be some losses along the way where it's just sort of surprising. But I think the ceiling for this team, I'm not going to say undefeated. We've seen that a couple of times ever. So, I don't think the ceiling is undefeated. I think the
ceiling could be. That bird was trying. That was a raven that was trying to get some inside knowledge, I think, right
was
there.
Was that a raven?
Nevermore.
Nevermore.
Are there ravens in Kansas?
Nevermore. Yeah, there are. They arrived yesterday. What's more like Kansas City? More the Missouri side probably is where they're staying, not really the Kansas side. But maybe in like 10 years it'll be on the Kansas side that they'll be staying, because that's where they'll probably be playing, right? I've got them with the 1 seed. What seed do you have them with, Sterling?
1 seed.
Dylan, 2 seed?
Sure.
Okay. We'll find out on the other side of the break why Dylan has him as the 2 seed, because he's going to have to figure out who the 1 seed is for the AFC. We'll go through the divisions, who's winning the championship game, who's winning the Super Bowl, and then who's winning MVP, Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year, and Coach of the Year. We do that next. conducting a little bit here. I can just imagine, like this is NFL music. We think of that, but when they're
timpani.
But when they are actually performing this to record it, it's just, I mean, it's good music, right? Right? That's it. But then when you put it to highlights of an NFL game,
oh yeah,
all of a sudden the music raises in how hard it hits. It's amazing.
It's built different.
It's amazing. Like, you wouldn't think of, like, I don't know, if I was putting, this is why I don't work in, on the creative side when it comes to videos and TV shows and movies and things like that, because I wouldn't think that the highlights would be heightened by a symphony. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it might be.
Oh, right now, oboe, hit me with a do.
I would need, like, all of the Chiefs highlights would have, like, you know, Tech 9 and Red Kingdom in the background.
No, if you have a timpani in your
Red Kingdom, welcome to the, and then you're playing this in the background.
There's something about a horn, a trumpet, a trombone, okay, Lou Bega, a tuba.
Super Bowl number 5.
Okay, that was actually pretty good.
All right, should we get into our predictions? All right, so let's go ahead and start in the AFC, should we? Should we start in the AFC? Let's do that. AFC. We'll start with the AFC West. Who you got winning the division, guys?
Chiefs.
Chiefs. You got the Broncos?
Yeah,
Dylan?
Broncos. Kidding.
I beat you to it.
Kidding.
I beat you to it.
I know.
You got the Chiefs?
Yep.
All right, this is the most important, or the only really thing of interest with the West. Second, third, fourth. How's your order go? 2, 3, 4.
Raiders second, Chargers third, Broncos 4.
You've got Raiders, Chargers, Broncos. I've got Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
And I've got Broncos, Chargers, Raiders.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. We all have a different second, third, and fourth between the three of us. Love that. Let's go to the East, the AFC East. I have the Jets winning the East this year.
Oh, son of a gun.
Sorry. Sterling, who you got?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the fun one. Was I the Jets?
Fun. Whatever. You think that's fun? You think the Jets winning is fun? There's nothing fun about the Jets winning. Jets losing, that's fun. All right, it keeps the fun going around the NFL. Then you get Jets fans, like, oh, the Jets are just as good as the Chiefs because they won a division now because Aaron Rodgers is better. The Super Bowl's coming up, but he's going to be in Egypt for the Super Bowl. That's too bad. He already scheduled it, so he can't change his plans. He couldn't change his plans for a minicamp. Mandatory. He can't change his plans for this. Dylan, who you got winning the East?
Jets as well.
Oh, my God.
I
Sucks.
know.
Who you got finishing second?
Dolphins.
Bills.
I got the Dolphins finishing second. Who you got third? Of course, it's Buffalo. Me and you, we both have the Bills.
Dolphins.
You got the Dolphins, and then we all have the Patriots finishing fourth, right?
Correct.
That's crazy. I didn't think that you guys would be close to what I have for the AFC East.
Yeah,
and you and I are the same.
Yeah,
Sterling.
I didn't like that. I thought I was the unique
Yeah,
one.
clearly Dylan's right on this one. We have missed the boat. So let me go ahead and change mine to Jets, Bills, Dolphins.
I think all three of those teams, though, have a really good chance of winning the AFC East. Like I don't
agree with that.
It's not like it's the AFC West where it's Chiefs clear cut.
Yeah.
It's not like the South where there's a clear cut team. It's the AFC East where there's three teams I think with
I don't
legit
know
chance.
I think the South has a clear-cut team, but I think there's some teams that might have a say in that. But I do have Houston winning the South. Anybody have something different than Houston winning the South?
I have Houston.
Who's second?
I've gone back between the Colts and the Jags. I think
Me
I'm
too.
going Colts second.
I almost went Colts. I ended up going Jags second. I went Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Tennessee.
Yep. That's mine.
Jacksonville, and then you went Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Tennessee?
Yeah, and I think the Titans might be slightly better than people think.
Yeah.
But not by a lot. Like
South is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be more interesting than just like, hey, Houston's going to be a sneaky, fun, sexy team to be picked to go far, and then some also-rans there. Like, I think Jacksonville or the Colts or the Texans can win that division. Like, I think Houston's good, but the Colts have a good roster, and if Anthony Richardson stays healthy and, you know, plays at a certain level, then yeah, I think the Colts are good enough to win that division. Jacksonville, you know, been there, done that.
Sure.
I think they're good enough to win the division. I think Houston does it, but any of those three teams, like, I wouldn't be floored and shocked and like, oh my God, like I'd be shocked if New England won the East.
Sure.
If Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, none of those would surprise me if they won the South. The North, who you got in the North?
I have the Ravens.
I've got the Bengals winning the North. Dylan, you got the Bengals?
Bengals, yep.
Wow.
I've got Baltimore finishing second. So I've got Cincy, Baltimore. You've got Baltimore, Cincy? Or you got Baltimore?
I have Ravens, Cincy, Cleveland, Steelers.
Okay. Ravens, Cincy, Cleveland, Steelers. I've got the Bengals winning the North. I've got the Ravens finishing second. I've got Pittsburgh finishing third and the Browns coming in last place in the AFC North. This is one of those divisions to where I could actually see any order except maybe Pittsburgh winning it.
Sure.
Like I could see Pittsburgh finishing second or third or fourth. I can't see Pittsburgh winning it, but I could see Cleveland winning it.
Yeah.
I could see Baltimore winning it. I can see Cincy winning it. So I've got Cincy, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. How does your AFC 1 through 7 stack up then in your playoffs?
Chiefs 1, Ravens 2, Texans 3, Jets 4, Dolphins 5, Bills 6, so 3 teams from the AFC East. And then the Bengals just sneak in at number 7.
Okay. My number 1 is, the 1 seed is the Chiefs. The number 2 seed is the Houston Texans. The number 3 seed is the New York Jets. The number 4 seed, by virtue of what I think is a difficult division, is whoever the NFC North or AFC North winner is going to be the 4 seed. My 5 seed is Miami.
Okay.
My 6 seed is the Ravens. My 7 seed is the Jags. My 8 seed is the Bills. I have the Bills missing the playoffs this year. That's my going off the board. There's always some changeover that takes place in the NFL in the playoffs. So I've got the Jets and Jags, and I've got the Bills falling out, and Cincy joining from a year ago.
Yeah.
So the Jets and the Bengals and the Jags joining, and I've got the Bills falling out of the playoffs. What's your playoff look like, Dylan?
So my playoff goes the 1 seed being the Bengals.
Wow.
The 2 seed is the Chiefs. 3 seed Jets, and 4 seed is actually the Texans. I think they regress just a little bit, but it's the South, so.
Who are your 3 wildcard teams?
Wildcard teams, the 5th seed is the Ravens, 6th seed is the Bills, and 7th seed is the Dolphins.
All right. So I'm the only one that has the Bills missing the playoffs. I think one of those teams, the Jets, the Dolphins, or the Bills, will miss the playoffs in the AFC East. And I've got the 2 teams from the North, Cincy and Baltimore, 1 team from the West and 2 teams from the South. But, I mean, the AFC is so crazy that, like, Cincy, Baltimore, Houston, Jacksonville, the Jets, Miami, Buffalo, at least one of those teams is going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's going to miss the playoffs.
Playoffs?
I mean, I named 7 teams there.
Yeah.
Throw in the Chiefs, too, because that would be 8. So, therefore, you throw in the Chiefs, at least one of those teams I just named, Chiefs, Jets, Dolphins, Bills, Texans, Jags, Ravens, Bengals, one of those teams will not be in the playoffs this year. That's how good the AFC is. NFC, let's just go quickly through there. The West, I've got San Francisco and then the Rams finishing first and second in the West. You have anything different? You got Arizona jumping up and surprising some people?
So I have Niners winning. I have the Rams just over the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to surprise a lot of teams.
Dylan, 49ers, Rams. I saw a lot of people picking the Rams to win the West, which, could happen, but
that feels like you're trying to pick the Chargers over the Chiefs.
Yep.
I agree. That's what I was thinking too. Is like I feel like you're going for like Jacksonville or Indianapolis over Houston.
Yeah,
trying to be different.
If you go with Rams over the 49ers, it could happen though. I mean, the Rams are healthy. Cooper Kupp healthy. They've got Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams back. I mean, Goff. They've got a number of players offensively. They got one of the leading candidates for defensive rookie of the year and a defensive lineman. So who knows? NFC East, I've got Dallas over Philly. Anybody have Philly or
I have Philly.
You 2 have Philly?
I have Philly, Dallas, New York, Washington.
I've got Dallas, Philly, Washington, New York.
Yeah, I put Washington over.
I've got Washington finished 3rd this year. I think Jaden Daniels and that Washington team is going to surprise some people, and I think the Giants are heading in the wrong direction.
Sure.
Although I like but I mean, we'll see. The South, Atlanta. Atlanta wins the South. They're a good team, and we kind of talked about this with the Chiefs going to Atlanta. And that Week 3 game, that it's a tougher matchup than just, hey, this is their first road game, and they just, thank God they got through the Ravens and the Bengals. That's what also scares me about that Falcons game is, Okay, you got through the Ravens and the Bengals. If you're 2-0, 1-1, whatever it is, if you're 0-2, I think it might be different with the Falcons. But
yeah,
if you're 2-0, it's like you got through that. All right, you get an NFC South team now with the Falcons, and it's a good team. So I've got the Falcons winning the South, followed by Tampa Bay. And then I got Carolina and then New Orleans. I went off the board with Carolina finishing third in the South.
Yeah, what with does New Orleans just get 2 wins or something?
Nope, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I got
Carolina winning the NFC, guys. I mean, this is going to be crazy. No.
Yeah, I have Atlanta, Tampa, New Orleans, Carolina.
And then the North, I've got, this is a tough one. I went back and forth with the Packers and the Lions, I settled on Lions, and then the Packers, and then I've got the Bears over the Vikings because of the quarterback situation in Minnesota.
I had the same thing.
Same thing?
Lions, Packers, Bears, oh my.
Minnesota.
So I just flipped the Lions and Green Bay. Green Bay wins that division.
Okay. My playoffs, San Francisco 1, Detroit 2, Dallas 3, Atlanta 4. Those are the division winners. Wild cards are Green Bay, the Rams, and Philly gets in there as the 7 seed.
I have Niners as the 1, Eagles as the 2.
Ooh, I got them as a 7. You got them as a 2. I love that.
I'm all in on the Eagles this year.
I get it. I got Jalen Hurts, so I'd love to be all in on the Eagles. Let's go.
Falcons 3. They have the easiest division in all of the easiest schedule in all of the NFL.
Yeah.
They could win 12 games, and I would not be surprised. I ripped their over already. So Falcons 3, Lions 4, Cowboys 5. It's the regular season, so the Cowboys will make the playoffs, and they'll lose.
I got them as a 3 seed, but losing.
I have the Packers 6,
okay,
and then the Rams 7.
Okay. Dylan, we know who your division winners are. Who are your wild card teams?
The wild card teams are the Lions, Cowboys, and Rams.
Okay.
So then it would be Niners 1 seed, Green Bay 2 seed, Philly 3 seed, Falcons 4 seed.
Yeah, I am the lowest on Philly, clearly. I'm the lowest on Philly and the Bills.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 teams. But I still have Philadelphia making it. I just don't have them going far, losing to Detroit in the first round. But I've got the Rams beating the Cowboys in the first round because it's the playoffs. The Cowboys are going to lose. It doesn't matter who they play. Just whatever their opponent is, I'll take verse. Dallas verse, fill in the blank. I'll take that team in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yes, I'll take the field, whoever it is. Championship game.
Yeah.
AFC champion. Let's do NFC first. NFC championship game, I've got 49ers and Lions in the NFC championship game. What do you got, Sterling?
Eagles, Niners.
Eagles, Niners. I like it.
Niners, Packers.
Niners, Packers. We all got something different. Championship game in the AFC, I've got Chiefs, Jets.
I think I have it as Chiefs, Ravens.
Chiefs, Ravens.
That's how I think I have it. Is it
matchup? Hey, you know what?
Yeah, it's breaking back.
Went Chiefs, Bengals back-to-back years.
Yeah.
So Chiefs, Ravens back-to-back.
I got Chiefs, Bengals actually.
Chiefs, Bengals. There you go. 3 out of 4 Chiefs and Bengals in the AFC championship game.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I got the Jets. I'm a believer if Rodgers is healthy in that roster. I think the defense has some really good players. Rodgers is a difference maker. They've got one of the best running backs in the NFL. They've got one of the best playmaking wide receivers in the NFL. They've got some pieces, if healthy, on the offensive line. So, it's not a great one, but I'm a believer in the Jets this year, which is why I don't have Buffalo making the playoffs.
You couldn't leave her if you tried.
I could not. I'm a believer, and which is again Buffalo to me. It's weird. I've got Buffalo beating the Chiefs at home, but I've got them missing the playoffs. Because if you go through Buffalo's schedule, their road games are like their toughest games are on the road except for the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Outside
hard.
of the Chiefs, they're going to their NFC teams that they play, the tougher NFC teams on the road.
Yeah.
So I think this is a rough year for Buffalo with revamping some of the things.
Sure, yeah.
I could be viewing this the way that people viewed the Chiefs 2 years ago when they traded away Tyreek Hill. Totally get that. My Super Bowl, I've got the Chiefs over the Lions. I've got what was close to being Chiefs and Lions last year. I've got the Chiefs beating the Lions in Louisiana.
I hate doing it, but I kind of have chalk Chiefs over Niners. I just think Niners are still the best team in the NFC. I think the Niners are best in the NFC. Chiefs are still the best in the AFC. And sorry, Brock Purdy versus Mahomes in prime time or in a game, not even prime time, not during the in the playoffs. Yeah. Give me Mahomes.
It'd be another matchup of Chiefs Niners.
Yeah,
it'd be the third time in a
6
calendar
years.
year.
Yeah, well,
I mean, but Super Bowl, October 20th, Super Bowl. What was the date for the Super Bowl this last year? What was that? Was it
13th or something like that?
Yeah, right. So it would be a calendar year because
it was right before Valentine's Day.
We just did that with the Bengals too, 2 years ago when we played them in January, then the AFC Championship, and then regular season.
Yeah, so it was it was February 11th was the Super Bowl this last year. And then the Super Bowl this year is February 9th. So 367 days away, playing them 3 different times. The 49ers could happen. Chiefs over Lions. Dylan?
Chiefs over Packers.
Okay. Chiefs and Packers.
The original three-peat team having to defend the only three-peat against the Chiefs would be an awesome storyline.
I like that storyline. Chiefs and Packers. I've got Chiefs and Lions. You have Chiefs and 49ers, and we all have Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. That's surprising. That is really surprising here in Kansas City that we all have the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
But
odd.
The thing is, I don't think it's like a homer
right.
take.
No,
like
they're not the 7th betting favorite.
Schrager picks it.
Yeah, but if like
I changed my entire prediction once I saw Schrager pick the Chiefs to win.
I bet even 85% of Jets fans would have the Chiefs. I would say the majority of Texans fans would have the Chiefs. Bengals fans, they can't pick themselves because they've never won a Super Bowl. So that's just
this is the year, guys.
Based on history, that's just silly.
This is the year.
The Dolphins are once it gets cold, who cares? We'll watch the Miami Heat or something.
Well, that's what we said. NFL.com had 28 analysts pick the Super Bowl winners, and 9 of the 28. I mean, that's damn near a third picking the Chiefs to win it.
Yeah,
a third of the people picking one team to win. Yeah, they're the heavy favorites, certainly. MVP this year.
Yeah.
I got Mahomes.
I do too. I think
the offense is going to be stupid this year. I think it's going to be. Kids say stupid isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're saying now.
I was trying. I think Lamar. No, I think it's. I don't want to say fatigue because you can almost say that with Mahomes, but Mahomes has kind of been back after last year, right? And so all of a sudden the numbers are going to explode back again offensively. I've been all in on the Chiefs offense, so I'm saying Mahomes wins MVP.
Dylan,
we know where my ticket lies, so it's C.J. Stroud.
What, the Sigma? Really?
My what?
What the what?
C.J. Stroud.
Oh, it's what the kids are saying these days.
Did you get something you had to say on air? Or?
No, that would have been awesome if I did, but I did not do that.
That would have been a good one.
I did not, but I said the Chiefs' offense is going to be stupid. It's what the kids are saying these days. Well, actually, they're saying what the Sigma. It's true. Ask any kid. Walk up to a random kid.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that, Jason. Probably not going to do that.
Having a conversation.
I have a mustache right now, Jason. Not going to do that.
They would look to their friends and go, "What the Sigma? Why is this guy over here?" Mahomes, and you got Stroud. C.J. Stroud. Okay, you got Stroud. Good chicken, cinnamon rolls. I like it, but I would rather go with Patrick Mahomes. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels.
Oh, son of a. Yeah, I have Jaden Daniels
He's
too.
son of Mr. Daniels.
Yeah, I have Jaden Daniels too.
Dylan.
I'll be different, and I'll go with
whatever you want,
Malik Neighbors.
Ooh, I like that one.
I sprinkled actual money on Lad McConkey, by the way.
I'm sorry, was that AFC?
It's just one. Yeah,
okay.
They just have one. It does not.
I never remember if they do or not.
I did sprinkle on legit money on Lad McConkey. The odds are great. I think the odds are there. I think he might be wide receiver 1.
Well, here's the thing: of the last 5 years, 3 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
So I mean, it hasn't been a running back. I got to think back. Did Breece Hall win? No, because it would have been because it was wide receiver.
Garrett Wilson, actually.
Yeah, it was Garrett.
Yeah, duh.
It was actually Garrett Wilson.
Because he was a wide. Yeah,
it was Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson.
Because I just said the last 5 years it was wide receiver and quarterback, so it couldn't have been Breece Hall.
You dummy!
I'm so stupid. I mean, it's ridiculous how stupid I am.
Adrian Peterson.
No, it's been since that.
He won MVP though. He was the last running back to win MVP. But
yeah. I'm going to look it up just because I got to know now. It's one of those things where I have to know.
Kareem Hunt.
No. Let's see. Stroud, Chase, Murray. Excuse me. Stroud, Wilson, Chase, Herbert, Murray, Saquon.
Oh.
Saquon in 2018 was Offensive Rookie of the
We're
Year.
dumb.
Yeah, and then Kamara before that. So it was back-to-back running backs, but it's 2017 and 18 last time there was a running back. It was actually 3 out of 4. Because it was Todd Gurley in 15, Dak Prescott in 16, and then Kamara, Saquon. But the game has changed. We're seeing more quarterbacks play already, and we're seeing more wide receivers in the NFL. So you got Murray and Herbert and Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson and C.J. Stroud. So I was going Jaden Daniels or Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. I wasn't going Caleb Williams.
I wasn't either.
Just because I think that would be the obvious one. He's the favorite right now. I wanted to go off the board a little bit as to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Quinyon Mitchell for the Eagles.
Quinyon Mitchell for the Eagles. Dylan, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'll go Defensive Rookie of the Year. By the way, the betting favorite is Latu
Yeah.
for the Colts. I went Terry and Arnold because I've got the Lions in the Super Bowl, and the secondary has been where they're weakest, and they've improved the secondary, and he could be a big reason why the defense is better. So you went Quinion Mitchell
For the
which
same
is weird.
reason, which is why I almost went Terry on. It was between him and Arnold. I went
Yeah.
between, those are the two guys. If we would have been the same guy, I would have thrown
been
hands.
annoyed.
Yeah.
No, but I went with Detroit needing cornerback help,
Yeah.
needing secondary help, and if Terry and Arnold's as good as I think he is, then he could win that. I don't know that he's sauce, but we'll see. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Dylan?
I'm going to go Dallas Turner
like
replacing Daniil Hunter
Yep.
in Minnesota.
I like
Yeah,
it. That was
solid.
one I thought about as well. And then a dude for the Rams.
Jared Verse.
Thank you, Verse. I was trying to, second verse.
That guy's gonna be a dude,
Yep, Jared Verse. Coach of the Year.
No defensive player?
We did Terry and Arnold.
That's rookie.
Oh, Defensive Player of the Year. Sorry, I skipped right over it. Yes, Defensive MVP of
Yeah.
the Year. Yeah, Micah Parsons.
Max Crosby.
I'll go Micah Parsons
Yeah,
too. That's
Micah
a good
Parsons.
one.
Yeah, I got my. He's the favorite, but
Contract year too.
it's exactly contract year. I like the Max Crosby one.
Dude,
I love
Christian
that.
Wilkins now, he's going to get so many more
I like it.
openings. I think Max
Yeah,
Crosby.
it's a good one.
And he doesn't come off the field. So
Yeah.
so that
Off the
Mike,
board.
Micah misses a lot of snaps.
I like it. No,
Max doesn't.
I like that. But contract year for Micah Parsons. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be good at football. I disagree with what you say, Sterling, about Micah Parsons when we're off the air.
Oh, yeah?
You don't
Is
think
that
he's
what it
good?
is? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You said you wouldn't trade George Karlaftis for him. I thought that was odd because I would trade Karlaftis for Micah Parsons. But that's just me.
I guess that is like Furious George. I just
Coach of the Year. Wrapping it up. Coach of the Year. Clearly not Andy Reid. He won't get Coach of the Year votes because they're the favorites. So
they would have to go undefeated.
Yep. Who do you got Coach of the Year? Sterling?
D'Amico Ryans should have won last year.
I like
Didn't.
it.
Went Stefanski because somehow the Browns
Same
had
thing
had
with
a
Joe Flacco. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about the
Coulda had
Browns.
Dan Campbell too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Dan Campbell had a chance. But I thought D'Amico
100%.
Ryans the Texans last year, so I'll go this year.
I agree.
So I think D'Amico Ryans is getting so much pub, and there's a lot of there's more expectations on the Texans. So it might take away from D'Amico Ryans is what he can do because we expect him to be good now. So if they're good, then is he really Coach of the Year because we expect him to be good and they're good? I told you I got Carolina finishing third in the South. I'm going Dave Canales. I think Carolina looks more like an actual football team at times, and because of that,
bold.
They're going to be like, wow, this team was terrible. This team was garbage.
Is that going to be enough for him to keep his job though?
Now they won 5 games. It's a good call.
We don't know.
Now they've won 5 games. Unbelievable. This guy's Coach of the Year. I didn't want to go chalk with some of the ones that I thought were obvious, but we'll see what happens. I'm going Dave Canales. I thought about going Raheem Morris.
Yeah, that's a really good call. That was who my other guy was going to be.
Almost said Raheem Mostert, but I don't think he's going to win Coach of the Year.
Shockingly, I don't think he would.
Yes,
That might
he
be
will
a
not.
bad bet.
It's terrible.
Might be a bad bet.
Not putting any money on Raheem Mostert being Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next.
Hey folks, this is Nate Bucati coming to you from Intrust Bank, just to the south of K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe, and we have free lunch here today. I mean, the folks from Hy-Vee have pulled up the truck and the grill.
right, wrapping up this hour. One more hour to go. We're going to do one segment of Sports or Leisure, so better get in right now. One segment of Sports or Leisure, 913-381-810. We're going to focus on the sports side is just going to be Chiefs season openers. So one segment of Sports or Leisure, and then the final 40 minutes of the show, we're going to get in and break down what we think about the Chiefs and the Ravens, who's going to win, the Chiefs, but why they're going to win, how they're going to do it. We'll do that coming up in the next hour. We lead up to 2 o'clock where the program was Ren Petro, Curtis Siebold. They take over. And then at 5 o'clock, we got the Central Bank pregame show. And then right after the game is over, of course, the first regular season postgame for Jack Johnson, the Sports Radio 810 postgame show with Jack Johnson tonight. Looking forward to that. He's going to kill it. And so are the Chiefs against the Ravens. But Sports or Leisure next. listening to Sports Radio 810 WHB. And 2, placing a lot of different odds and end bets. I've got most of my season bets done. So my over-unders for the season, like the Mahomes and Kelce's and Pacheco's and things like that, or wins, totals, things like that. I did all my college stuff, a couple of weeks ago, so all the NFL stuff is pretty much done. But then, like, for the game tonight, like different single-game parlays, but it's the boost that sometimes get me.
Yeah.
Like DraftKings right now has a boost to, like, plus 300 with Derrick Henry and what was the boost? Here it is. Oh, Derrick Henry or Travis Kelce to score a touchdown tonight. Derrick Henry or Travis Kelce to score a touchdown tonight is plus 100. From minus 330 to plus 100. Derrick Henry or Travis Kelce. I think they both can score. Maybe they both will score tonight. And then I'm getting caught in the ESPN bet exclusives.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, they got one that they boosted to plus 1,000 for Travis Kelce over 1.5 touchdowns and the Chiefs to win. One, I think the Chiefs are going to win. But Kelce in week 1 could have 2 touchdowns? Sure. I'm not going to put a bunch of money on it, but at plus 1,000, $2 to win 20, $3 to win 30. I can see Travis Kelce having a couple of touchdown receptions tonight. I think Mahomes is going to have 3 or 4 tonight.
Yeah.
The offense and score and throwing touchdowns is back. It is back. And when Mahomes had his 50 touchdown season, he had, I think, 18 of them inside the 5-yard line. Andy Reid, this is what he does. Oh, a shovel pass to Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Still a pass. Still a pass. So, I get enticed by some of those. 913-381-1010. Let's play some sports or leisure. One segment here. We go until 1:20. Sports or leisure. 913-381-1010. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 at Johnny's Tavern. We give away. You get a sports question, get a leisure question. You get them both right, you win. Either of them wrong, you lose. NFL Network right now is playing the Chiefs and Ravens. I thought it started tonight at 7:22. But they are kicking off right now. Plus, this is in Baltimore, and they look cold. I'm not sure what game this is. It must be the AFC Championship game they're playing on the NFL Network right now. But 913-381-1010, $25. Johnny's Tavern. You get a Chiefs question. It will be a Chiefs question, but you get a sports question, get a leisure question. You get them both right, you win. Either of them wrong, you lose. Question available for someone to call in and request. If you know the answer to it, or you've Googled it, we give out the answer when somebody has answered it correctly, or we have run out of time to play. The categories today. Go UDFA yourself. These are about undrafted free agents for the Chiefs. And with Carson Steele making the team and starting as a second running back.
Yeah.
He's the starting backup running back. And then Chiefs openers. Questions specifically about the first game of the season. Not home openers.
Sure.
It could be home openers, but just the first game of the season. Categories on the sports side. What about leisure?
We have one-hit wonders. We have walk-in music, which are closers' walk-in songs, and we have potpourri.
All right, potpourri, Christopher Walken music, and also one-hit wonders. I am ready to go. Sterling, you good?
Yes, I am very good.
Dylan, what do you say?
Yep.
All right. 913-381-1010. We go to the phone lines. A little time to play. Let's bring in Charles, Johnny's Tavern, premier sports bar, 10 locations. Maybe Charles will be heading to one of those 10 locations with a $25 gift card. Charles, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's do some leisure. Let's do some potpourri.
All right, potpourri. If you tip 20% on a $15 bill, how much would that tip be?
Wow. Okay.
15% of a $20 bill.
20% on a $15 bill.
Yeah, 20% on a $15
20% on a $15 bill.
Yeah. Come on now.
That would be $3.
It is $3.
Trace
Nails.
Dineros. Good job. On to the sports side, sir. Go UDFA yourself or Chiefs openers.
UDFA, please.
All right. An undrafted free agent out of Middle Tennessee by the Cowboys. Chiefs made a late preseason trade to acquire this player. He finally got his shot later in his rookie year because the Chiefs needed any help they could get in the secondary. He did help the Chiefs win their first Super Bowl in 50 years. He earned a lucrative contract in his career. And Travis Kelce, stay over on your side there, buddy. It's better over there.
You said cornerback?
Cornerback, yep. It's better over there.
Cornerback.
Yep,
Cornerback, right?
CB, corner, CORNER, cornerback.
Parker Anger, I believe, was the trade piece.
Yeah, you would be Anger if you do not get this right. But out of Middle Tennessee State, traded on cut down day, undrafted free agent, made the team, played his rookie year at the end of the year. Cool red hair. Helped the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, got himself a lucrative contract. And Travis Kelce to go ahead and go over there on your other side. It's better over there. What do you say?
One of my favorite of his quotes is, "I wear glasses to make myself look more intelligent."
I don't remember him saying that.
That was a really good.
That wouldn't have helped me, but interesting. So that he doesn't. They're not prescription.
I don't know. He's got one of my favorite quotes was, "I wear my glasses to make myself look more intelligent."
Well, he said it's.
You say redheaded cornerback?
He had red hair his rookie year. Yep, that was one of the cool things. What do you say? Throw a dart. What do you say? 3.
One of my favorite cornerbacks who's ever played for the Chiefs.
Late preseason trade. Helped him win Super Bowl 50.
Oh, that's LeMahieu. Not LeMahieu. What is his name? Oh, my God.
Throw a dart. Time's running out. Go, Charles. 3, 2, 1, go. Gone, Charles. All right, Shane, next up. 913-381-0810. We only have a little bit of time to play. Shane, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Leisure, please. Can we do the potpourri?
All right, potpourri.
What's a $10, a 10% tip on a $20 tab?
What is the largest mammal in the world?
Got to be some kind of
your mom.
Kind of whale. I'm thinking it's some kind of whale, but I don't know which one.
That was the high school answer, right?
Yeah, Jason.
What's the largest mammal in the world? Your mom.
I gotta take a guess. I forgot. Let's say the.
Just say a generic one.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna say a humpback whale.
I think it's a whale. It's a blue whale. I'll give it to you. It's a blue whale technically, but
whale. We accept last names, so blue whale, Mr. Whale.
Yeah,
we would have gone with
Whale.
just whale. All right, we would have even taken Waylon Jennings. So on the sports side, go UDFA yourself and Chiefs openers. We do have one of the undrafted free agent questions out there. What are you thinking?
I'll take the go UDFA yourself question out there.
All right, who is it?
Him. That's I wish I could remember what Andy called him on a press conference. It's funnier, but Charvarius Ward.
I think he said Tre'Davious, Chicarius, something like that. He said 3 different versions, and none of them were Charvarius, which was great. Yeah, Travis told him, get over on that side. It's better over there, right? Go ahead and get over there on that side. That is a winner, right? Well done. Nice job, Shane. You got the whale and
just that easy.
Charvarius Ward. Well done. We'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, guys. Go Chiefs.
Absolutely. $25 to Johnny's Tavern, heading Shane's way. 913-381-0810. Let's go to Avery next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Avery, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
My face was turning beet red when he said humpback whale. I was going to just come in and be like, you got any blue whale or Charvarius Ward questions out there? That's the fastest round ever.
No, we don't.
All right. I'll do closing music.
Okay. These are all easy for you.
Well,
what was Edwin Diaz's closer music?
Narco.
Yeah.
I would have gone with third down at Faroe Field as well.
Yeah, third down.
that
Oh, my
one.
God. They need to stop that, by the way.
All right, go UDFA yourself or Chiefs openers.
I'll DFA myself.
Okay, very good. Good for you. Let's see. Signed as an undrafted free agent in 2014 out of Abilene Christian. He was released on the final day of cuts, cleared waivers, and signed to the practice squad. He appeared in 6 games his rookie year as a special teamer. He would be needed his second year when the Chiefs starting running back went down with an injury, burst onto the scene with 4 touchdowns in the first 3 games as a starter, along with 430 yards from scrimmage. That'd be the highlight, as he would play just 3 more years with the Chiefs and gain a total of 363 yards rushing. Go UDFA yourself.
Is it Sharkandrick West?
It is Sharkandrick West. Well done. We got Charvarius and Sharkandrick. We got those 2 out of the way.
I always felt bad. He fell 2 yards short of 1,000 yards rushing for his career. He had 998.
Yeah.
Always felt just 2 yards short of 1,000.
Well, you know what? Sounds like he
Should have head west.
Yes, that's right. Let's see. Avery, you are heading to Johnny's Tavern. That's a winner. Nice job. We'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations.
Go Chiefs.
We go 913-381-0810. In fact, if you don't give a Go Chiefs, you do not win Johnny's Tavern. Sorry about that, even if you're a Ravens fan calling in, or a Bills fan, or a Bengals fan, I guess. Nate, next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Nate, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Let's try leisure.
All right, we got walk-in music, one-hit wonders, and potpourri.
One-hit wonders, please.
All right, one-hit wonders. Who sang Eye of the Tiger?
If you're wondering, Chiefs just converted a 4th down on their opening drive against the
Was it
Ravens,
was it Survivor?
It was Survivor.
I'm a survivor. I don't remember those lyrics.
Shockingly different song, Jason.
I'm not gonna give up. I've got the eye of the tiger. Isn't that what the... Great. All right, on to the sports side, Nate. We've got Go UDFA yourself and Chiefs openers. What are you thinking?
Let's try the openers.
All right, Chiefs openers for you. See, since you're the first one to ask for the Chiefs openers, let's go.
The easiest one,
yeah,
then, right?
for sure. You know what? Let's go with this one. The same player holds the Chiefs' record for rushing yards and rushing touchdowns in a season opener. Not total and career season openers, but one specific game. This one player has the most rushing yards in a season opener, and this one player has the most touchdowns in a season opener. I'll tell you, 2 different years. It wasn't one year that he 2 different years. And if we lived in Baltimore, he could be a Go UDFA yourself question for them.
Yeah,
you want to say it louder, Sterling?
He couldn't hear me on the air, did he?
I heard it,
no.
But I guess, yeah. But 151 yards on the ground versus Denver, and then he had 4 touchdowns in the game against Cleveland.
There's a really good hint I could give.
I gave that hint with, if you're in Baltimore, he might be an answer and a question for the Go UDFA yourself.
He was a Super Bowl champion with Baltimore.
Just not with us.
Yeah,
correct.
That's right. No. They'd have had to get by the Colts. It's a hint because one of the many Colts games. But obviously an undrafted free agent with Baltimore and holds the record for the. I mean, those are pretty good hints. What are you thinking?
Yeah. That should be way easier. Can I ask what year? One of the years.
If I told you the year, it'd be a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Can't give you.
I thought you just said there were 2 different years.
Yeah, 2 different years.
Okay.
So they are in 2 different. It wasn't one game. So they're 2 different years, 2 years apart.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes is correct.
Yep. Nailed it.
Priest
Is it
Holmes.
really?
Oh yeah. He was undrafted out of Texas by Baltimore. Then he signed with the Chiefs. But Priest Holmes had 151 yards versus Denver in 2004, and then he had that 4 touchdown game against Cleveland in 2002, which was the Dwayne Rudd taking his helmet off game, and then the Chiefs getting the 15-yard penalty and then the field goal at the end. I did not see the end of that game because when John Tate ran out of bounds, I was so pissed. I'm like, just throw the ball backwards, you dumbass. Running out of bounds, it ends the game. So I got in my car and I drove home from my buddy's house. And I got home, I walked inside, pissed, and everybody's excited. I'm like, what the hell are you guys Dude, can you believe that ending? I'm like, yeah, he ran out of bounds. What the hell? Dude, no, they won. I'm like, how did they? What? You guys are lying. And then I found out that, so last time I ever leave a friend's house early. No. That's a winner, though, right?
That's a winner.
Very good. We'll put you on hold, Nate, and get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done. How about that? 3 in a row.
You could have just said one of the host's last name is also shared by this player. Priest Holmes, Sterling Holmes.
I was trying to think of somebody named Priest.
His co-host, too.
That game, I did not see the ending to it, so I had to watch it on replay, dude. I walked in the fraternity house and everybody was pumped. I'm like, what are you guys so excited about? Haters? Like,
that's less egregious than my buddy who will remain nameless leaving the 2014 wild card game after the
your buddy Corey Anderson?
Oh, no. Was Corey also?
Corey left early.
They might have seen each other on the way out.
Yeah, they may have left together.
Maybe.
Yeah, Corey left early. A lot of people.
Soft.
It's a number of people that left early.
Soft.
Now,
Can't see me turn off the TV early. You see me leave early. But
I did not turn off the TV early, but I was sulking, laying in the couch, just watching it emotionless. Like, how soon do they announce the firing of Ned Yost?
I was at that game. It was
Did
electric.
you leave early?
No, hell no.
Good for you.
That was the greatest game I've witnessed in my entire life.
100%. I would have loved to be at that game. It was it was amazing. But everybody has like their different stories of that game. Like Boddicker likes telling the story about how he had to kick Steven out of the seat next to him because Steven was being so negative, and Boddicker the whole game was like, Steven, we're winning this game. Stop. And Steven was doing his, stressing and upset and mad and everything's going wrong, and Boddicker was like, Steven, get the hell away from me. You've got to move seats. I don't care. Get the hell away from me. Because Boddicker was like, they're going to win. What are you talking? Guys, chill out. It's a long game. They're going to win this game. He might be the only person that after Giordano gave up the 3-run home run that said, they're still winning the game, guys.
Is that Brandon Moss that hit it too?
Oh, yeah. It's like, you wanted to bring in a guy that has strikeouts. You mean your entire bullpen? How about bringing in a bullpen guy? That is still an indefensible decision by
Oh,
Ned
100%.
Yost,
Yeah, it was
bringing in Ace there. But what a game. He went from being fired to having a statue now. Did Ned Yost. All right, wrapping up here this one segment of Sports or Leisure, and we'll get into the Chiefs and Ravens, break down that game. Bobby wraps it up for us here on Sports or Leisure on this Thursday, presented by Johnny's Tavern. Bobby, Sports or Leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Well, let's just go ahead and break the win streak.
I love the confidence.
Let's do something. Yeah, you know that. I got a lot of that nowadays. Leisure.
All right, we got potpourri, walk-in music for closers, and one-hit wonders.
One-hit wonders.
All right, we'll go with Layla. Eric Clapton was in this band as well.
Metallica, right?
Don't do it.
Oh, my God.
Layla, you've got me on my knees. Layla.
I don't want to rush
I'm begging,
to the answer.
darling, please. Layla.
Sterling, I don't want to rush to the answer, right? Isn't that...
Don't
it's
stop.
not Rush? Oh, darn it.
So...
I hope the Chiefs
What
don't
do you
come out
want-
and play like a Motley Crue tonight, right? Is Motley Crue?
Stop. Jason, let me talk to the man.
Sorry. I'm going to get it right
So,
eventually.
what was... Say that question again?
Who sang the song Layla?
Can you go to the genesis of that question?
Oh,
not
yeah.
Genesis.
Oh, darn it.
It
It's
was
not
Eric
Genesis
Clapton.
either.
Eric Clapton was in this band, yes.
Oh.
Yes. Oh... It's on the tip of my tongue. I should know what this is.
Can't wait to eat
It's on
some.
Goodfellas. I watch Goodfellas every week.
There you go. Can't wait to eat some meatloaf tonight. It's a meatloaf that he was. Was it Meatloaf, the band? Nope, it wasn't Meatloaf.
Let him
No,
think,
what-
Jason.
He can think. I'm asking questions to you. I think I've been right 5 times. I'm very strong in my conviction of being right on these.
now, when I'm not going to Johnny's Pizza,
Yeah?
there's another pizza place that's pretty solid.
Okay, I think
He was
Domino's?
in the band.
Yes,
he was
yes.
he was in the band Papa John's.
Derek and the Domino's.
Derek and the Dominoes. Great hint there.
Dude, you're gonna.
That's just because I'm staring at a Domino's sign.
What are the odds? See, he was speaking to you. That means you're destined to win Johnny's Tavern, $25. Sterling, there's times when I'm very disappointed in you and things you do and don't know in terms of pop culture, especially movies, and you're going to be disappointed in me. I promise you, this is not a bit. It's the first time I've ever heard Derek and the Dominoes. Swear to God.
Actually,
That was a long time
same here.
ago. But
Yeah,
like
I thought
said,
I've always said Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton. Like,
I
that's
watch
easy.
I watch Goodfellas every week, so I should know
Well,
that.
you had heard him. You said Derek and the Dominoes. I
Well,
wouldn't
that's
have
why
even.
it's called one-hit wonders. Eric Clapton by himself would not be on one-hit wonders,
I agree,
Jason.
but I
sir.
thought at one point I might have heard. You would think in my 44 years on this earth that at one point I would have heard of Derek and the Dominoes, but I have not. Sports side for you, Bobby. Chiefs openers and go UDFA yourself.
I'm not very good with openers, so let's do the other one.
All right, go to UDFA yourself. How old of a fella are you?
I'm almost 60.
Almost 60. Okay, let's go with this one. This will be a fun one.
Is it a true or false?
No, it's not. False. It is not. He was undrafted and signed by the Chiefs as a punter. He asked Marv Levy if he could switch to defensive back. Levy okayed the move, but this player was still cut before the season. It wasn't until a defensive back by the Chiefs was injured and they called him back and gave him a shot to play safety. Luckily, they did. This 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, member of the 80s All-Decade Team, Chiefs Hall of Famer, recipient of the NFL Man of the Year award, and one hell of a model American, would finish with a career 50 interceptions, 4 of which came in one game, still a Chiefs record. You say, who is this undrafted free agent?
I wouldn't know. Good God.
One of my favorite fruits, too.
It is a good fruit. Sometimes you'll put it on a sundae.
Yeah.
He was the topping every Sunday.
Yeah.
This guy was.
They should have made commercials for that.
Right? How did they
not? That was actually
not?
a really good catchphrase.
How did they not do that? Oh, man. It was right there the whole time. Got some ice cream, a little whipped cream in there.
I don't know. The only thing I could think of, the first name is Matt, but I can't think of his last name.
It's not Matt.
It's not a Matt. I can tell you that much.
Oh.
It's not a Matt.
Shit.
All right. Very good. You got that one, Dylan? Very good. All right,
No,
Bobby.
I don't know, guys.
All right, Bobby, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. 913-381-1010 is the phone number. I tell you that for next week or tomorrow, since it's the day after a Chiefs game. That would be Duron Cherry.
Yeah.
He was the cherry on top of every Sunday. Duron Cherry with undrafted as a punter, and asked Marv Levy, "Can I play defensive back?" Sure, punter. Okay. This guy wants to play safety over here. Who cares? He's undrafted anyway. It's not like he's ever going to make the team. He's certainly not going to ever have a Pro Bowl year, an All-Pro year, or member of the 1980s All-Decade Team in the NFL, and he's not going to end up as a Hall of Famer for this organization. He might be a Man of the Year award. He seems like one hell of a mensch. But, yeah, sure, take a shot, guy. Duron Cherry. Yeah. We will take a shot at a break. Johnny's Tavern, $25 given away here in Sports or Leisure, premier sports bar in Kansas City, 10 locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. We take a timeout. We get deep into Chiefs-Ravens next. I think the biggest part that I'll be paying so much close attention to, obviously the game, but matchup wise, to me it comes down to the Chiefs offense versus Baltimore defense. When the Chiefs offense is on the field, to me, will be the biggest indicator of how the game will go. Because if the Chiefs offense has trouble scoring, then by virtue of what the defense wants to do and how they've been built in the past, and what the Ravens want to do with Lamar and Derrick Henry, which I do think they will have a more concerted effort to run the ball, it can limit possessions for the Chiefs. It can keep the defense out there longer, and it will allow the Ravens to stay on script, to stay ahead of the game plan, right? Stay ahead of the chains, as they like to call it. When the Chiefs have the ball on offense, if they are able to score a couple times out of the gates, have the offense showing that they're picking up chunk yards, even if they're constantly getting into field goal range, right? They're threatening across the 50. They're getting into Ravens territory over and over again. Then you know they're a play here or a play there from breaking a touchdown. So you know that you're sort of bending but don't breaking, but eventually that can break. If the Chiefs are scoring, it changes the entire complexion of the game. If they're not, that keeps the complexion of the game the way the Ravens want it to be. And I have questions about a new defensive coordinator. He's never called plays before. First time ever being a play caller on defense. It's one thing to be the inside linebackers coach, and it's another with a system that you're still running. It's the same system. It's not Mike McDonald's system. It's a different one. Or, I mean, it wasn't his system. It was the Ravens system. So he's just taking over that. But you've got a new defensive line coach, a new defensive backs coach, a new linebackers coach, and a defensive coordinator that's calling plays for the first time. There's no Jadeveon Clowney, and there's no Patrick Queen. So you take away one of the best pass rushes a year ago that you could attack, maybe a weakness for the Chiefs in Kingsley Suamataia. You take away one of the best playmaking linebackers in Patrick Queen. And you add in for the Chiefs Xavier Worthy, hell, Juju Smith-Schuster. You know, I would say Rashee Rice, but we're talking about a Rashee Rice that was up to full speed at the end of the year and had a big game against the Ravens last year. The Chiefs' offense is better, and I think the Ravens' defense has taken a step back. If the Chiefs can't score, then that becomes a problem tonight. Chiefs offense, Ravens defense, that's the biggest indicator for me of what happens in this game.
I think the coaching staff's an interesting one with a lot of the turnover there. But they've been, the Ravens in general, even with quarterback change and some turnover, they've lost one one opening game, week one, since 2016. Mm-hmm. The only one they lost was in 21.
It's 21 against
the Raiders in overtime.
The Chiefs?
No. The Ravens.
I apologize, man. I was looking up a couple of plays last year in the Ravens while you were talking. I thought you were talking about just the Chiefs winning.
The Chiefs are 5-1, and the Mahomes
and Andy Reid's 10-2.
And Andy Reid's 10-2
or 9-2, whatever it is. It's two
and
losses.
Then since 2016, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
The Ravens are 7-1.
It's pretty legit,
in
man.
opening, and the only one was a loss in overtime. And some of these games have been just blowouts. The one in 2019 against Miami, 59-10. The one in 20
that was Lamar. That was the beginning of Lamar's MVP season. Was 2019.
24-9 against the Jets. 23 was 25-9 against Houston. 2020 was 38-6 against Cleveland. Like, traditionally, they've been fairly quick starters, and it's not just game one. It's, early in the season, Baltimore is typically pretty hot. But these are two teams that I think are going to get up to quick starts this year. Offensively, I think it's going to be fairly high scoring. That's why I'm ripping the over, because the Chiefs are a team that wins and starts off strong. The Ravens are a team that typically wins week one and starts off strong. Even with all the turnover on defense, the Chiefs have some issues as well with the lack of continuity with the Chiefs' defense, especially in the secondary, based on injuries. I just expect a high-scoring game tonight.
I look back to, a year ago, or January 28th, when this game was taking place. And it's funny, my son this morning we were talking, and he's obsessed with football. And so he's like, Daddy, I'm really worried about the game tonight. And I'm like, how about this? Just enjoy school today. Just focus on school, all right? He's like, I mean, if Flowers doesn't fumble into the end zone, or if they don't get the interception in the end zone, the Chiefs probably lose that game. I said, well, that could happen, Bubba. A lot of people have said that. I said, but, you've also got to take into account the fact that if Zay Flowers scores, it's 17-14, and do the Chiefs take the same exact approach with 14 minutes to go in the game, still up 10 on the Zay Flowers fumble, or up 3, are they taking the same approach? Because the next 2 possessions for the Chiefs, because it was the Zay Flowers fumble, a possession by the Chiefs, interception in the end zone, a possession by the Chiefs, both of those possessions ended up getting stopped with Patrick Mahomes taking a sack. And that was Patrick Mahomes, I'm not risking anything and running around and fumbling. They're here, I'm taking the sack. All right? Punting is okay. We're up 10 still. They were in Baltimore territory after the Zay Flowers fumble. They got the ball to 20-yard line. They drove to the Baltimore 45 when Mahomes took the sack. Punting's okay, because now we're punting it down inside the 20, inside the 10, up 10 with our defense with 10 minutes to go. Taking a sack is okay right here. Up by 3, do the Chiefs take the same approach? Does Mahomes have the same mindset of no turnovers, protect the ball, no risks, not taking any chances? Our defense is studly right now. We're up 10, and there's 10 minutes to play in the game. I'm not going to be the one that makes a mistake to lose this. Pressure, tuck it, take the sack. If they scored with Zay Flowers, I don't know what that possession would have looked like.
Sure.
Same thing with the interception in the end zone.
What'd your kid say? Did he understand that, or did he give you pushback?
He was like, what the Sigma?
I don't get this.
I don't either.
Dylan, do you understand what he's saying? Like,
I don't get it either, dude. I don't know.
Stop saying it. Stop saying it. We're not
get
Zoomers.
I don't understand it either.
Gen Z.
Right. I don't know what they are.
Go hang on your TikTok, Jason.
Right. But the next possession also, they take over with 7 minutes to go after the interception in the end zone. Chiefs get the ball at the 20-yard line. Up 10, 7 minutes to go. Pacheco for 4 yards. Mahomes takes the sack. -2. It's 3rd and 8. You know what they do on 3rd and 8? They hand off.
Yeah, it was a run play.
It was a run play on 3rd and 8. If the Chiefs are up by 3, they run it on 3rd and 8? With 6 minutes to play in the game?
No.
Andy Reid handing off on 3rd and 8 to Isaiah Pacheco? Of course not. But they're up 10. It changed the way the Chiefs went about their business when that happened. And then the Ravens got the field goal, and then the Chiefs ended up driving to the Ravens 46 on the next possession when they hit MVS over the top. I mean, like it's so much of that game has changed if those scores happen. And for as much as we talk about, like, the differences in the teams and the Ravens left so much on the table, right? Okay. Well, their touchdown was a broken play when Leo Chenal couldn't get the sack, and the coverage ended up being Nick Bolton on Zay Flowers because of the scramble drill.
Traditionally, you don't like that, I would have to say.
Shocker that Zay Flowers won that one for a touchdown. Great throw by Lamar Jackson, by the way.
Yeah.
Hit Zay Flowers right in stride. But Nick Bolton was trailing him by a good, 7 yards because he's not going to be the guy that guards Zay Flowers. That was their touchdown, was on a broken play. Let's say they get the other 2 touchdowns. Let's say Zay Flowers reaches across the line before Snead punches it out. Let's say Lamar Jackson doesn't make that throw, but they score on that drive. That's 24 points that they scored. The Chiefs last year had 17 with the ball. Scoring with the ball. I don't know what would have happened if they were down 24-17, but the point is, even if things went well for the Ravens last year, they score 24. The Chiefs, with a worse offense against a better defense than the Ravens, and a defensive staff that had 1, 2, 3 defensive coordinators on it. The actual defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, who's now the defensive coordinator, 4. The actual defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, who is now the Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, the now defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, and the now defensive coordinator of the Titans.
Yeah.
Those were your three assistant coaches and your defensive coordinator last year. One's a head coach, the other three are coordinators. Those were on the same staff with a better defense. And that Chiefs offense scored 17? Like, yeah, okay, everything goes well for the Ravens. Great. It's still a close game, and it felt like the Chiefs last year were playing in sand. Like, I think the Chiefs score tonight. I think they're going to put points on the board tonight, you know? What's the key to you for the game for you? Mine is Chiefs offense versus the Ravens defense. I think they're going to be able to score. What's if you're looking at and saying this is an indicator of how you think the game will go?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Chiefs scoring. I'm not. So that's not even really in the equation for me. For me, it's the Chiefs cornerbacks. If they can slow down at all, some of the big plays. Like, you know, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, they're going to have some nice runs. We get that. But when it comes to the Chiefs cornerback, and can they prevent the 40-yard broken plays? Can they prevent the Zay Flowers going deep, the Rashad Bateman going deep?
Mm-hmm.
Can they stop Nelson Aguilar catching a 40-yard? That's what it
Right.
comes down to. I trust McDuffie.
I do.
But do we trust the CB2s and 3s?
Well, I mean, defense last year, single high against Lamar. He went 5 of 15. Every other defensive play and formation the Chiefs were in, he had 9 yards per attempt. Single high. Force them. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're gonna come up here and stop the run. We're not going to fall for the play action. We're going to come up and stop the run. We're going to have the guys on here. We're going to play single high because Aguilar and Bateman are not beating us over the top.
Sure.
And McDuffie's running with Zay. Dylan, you got a prediction what you think happens, and then we'll weigh in on scores.
I got the I don't know how this does for my you know what the over-under is? I'm sorry?
46.5.
46.5. I am going to go 23 Chiefs, 17 Ravens.
23-17 and the under. Chiefs covering with the under.
Yep.
I've got the Chiefs winning 27-17, so I end up having the Chiefs and the under. I thought I was going to go the over, but I end up with the under for the Chiefs and the Ravens. Sterling, your final score?
Wow, I guess I have to say that the Ravens win since I did that.
You did say the Ravens win, so now you got to come up with a number.
I have to do it.
And you got the over. So, man, the Ravens are scoring some points tonight.
I guess I'll say 28-27 Chiefs. I mean, 28-27 Ravens, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. 28-27, you got it.
I had to put 4 losses somewhere, so this is the emotional hedge, if you will.
I was going to say, it is a true emotional hedge this time.
Yeah, this is
not I don't think you're emotionally invested in Chiefsaholic sentencing.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Good
I mean,
pull.
I would hope not.
Which, by the way, Dylan, Mick, and I got it right. It was over. It was over
you wouldn't
15
even
and a
let
half
me
years.
switch.
We had over under 15 and a half years or 186 months.
I didn't
and
get the
it was
full-
over. He got 210 months. We'll take a timeout.
I
More
did
stuff
the
next.
full picture.
Hey, it's Dylan Michaels here, and a good way to celebrate Kansas City's favorite baseball team picking up a massive win last night is to head over to Greenlight Dispensary because it's game time.
What happened in the game? 5 hours, 5 hours and 28 minutes away. So right around 5.5 hours to go until kickoff. Man, it's here, Sterling.
Dude.
We did it. We did it, everybody. We made it. We made it to the program at 2 o'clock. We did it.
That beer at kickoff is about to taste so damn good.
Dude, that Coke, it's going to...
I didn't know you were a druggie. What?
It's going to smell so good.
But what...
I don't like Coke. I just like the smell.
I call them that skiing with dynamite.
That Coca-Cola is going to taste so good. Program next.